Hey everyone, we are live. This is the Thursday Night Forum. Um, we're getting into the meat of the season now. And yeah, Gary and Tony, thanks for joining.
Thanks for joining us, Pilot.
Hello,
We'll get this
sir. And
playing and going.
yeah, and guess what? We're on time. Did I say that on live show?
Yes, we are live. We are live. So
All right.
anything, anything you say now will be taken down and used against you in a future podcast.
Uh-oh.
By
Uh,
Tony.
by Tony, of course. But Tony, we know what you said last season about you predicted City. You predicted the City winning. Liverpool. What did he say? He was wrong anyway. You
I
predicted.
kept saying City throughout the whole season, but I guess I'm a prediction. I picked Liverpool, which I don't remember doing.
Oh
All
my
right. Well,
God!
anyway.
Did you not watch the video? We're gonna do this every show until you go watch the video.
I'm going to
What?
blame the infection in my foot.
I don't, so can't do that. I don't think he can do that, can he, Ray?
Do what?
Blame the infection in his foot.
No. 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 No.
Oh, see, and
Um.
the laws of predictions, uh, it's not what they call it,
Admissible.
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 Yes. So
Right.
right.
Okay, Gary. I'm starting off with you. I put out a tweet a little bit earlier. Um. How we feeling, Arsenal fans, and uh, do we are we gonna wait till the window opens? Are we calm? What was it? What did it say here? Here we go. Arsenal fans, what's your mindset? Judge the window in August, 82%. And the other option is why are we moving so slow? 18%.
Ooh,
Which one would you be in, Gary?
I would say why are we so slow?
Why are we moving so slow?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because this is. I mean, some of this business could have been done already. Tyranny, Millswift Row. Those are things. I think they knew this last summer. What was going to happen this summer with their contracts, right? So it's not something new, and it's not something that they couldn't have just figured out and got it completed. So that
And
as
the
soon as
players we were looking at that had buyout clauses too.
yeah, well, I mean, Tyranny, you were going to pay him, right?
Yep,
Millswift Row, you're going to pay him.
maybe.
So no, you are. So what's the problem? Hello, Norma. Hello, everybody in the chat. Hopefully, that's joining us as we start up. But no, these are things they needed to get off their plate, so they can move on to the other stuff that are going to be a little bit more challenging, right? In this in this market, right? In this transfer window, it's going to be a little tough to do certain businesses because there's like no money here. There's lots of money there. There's the fact that Arsenal's transfer business just isn't really that good in the first place, so they need longer, and uh, they don't always get what they want. So, yeah, it's too slow. Tierney should have been paid. He should have been signed a while ago. Millsworth Rowe should have been signed before he went on vacation, right? What are they saving that for? Right? They want to every week push out something about the transfer window. No, get that stuff done so you can move on to the next one. It's too much stuff to deal. You got to sell players, right? How many players are we supposed to sell, right? We've picked like 11 players they can let go, and it wouldn't hurt their performances, right? And we said they could bring in about anywhere from 5 to 8 players, and that could potentially help us. So there's a lot of work that could be done. Some of it should have been done already. So yeah, they're slow. They're slow. I mean, we have no players sold yet. No
Yeah.
players sold
Yeah.
yet.
It's slightly worrying. I got to admit, slightly worrying. But I think we're in that fuzzy zone right now, Tony, where the Euros are grinding, coming to an end. Teams are phasing out of that tournament. There's eight teams left, 4 teams left. There's 4 teams left.
Yep.
Semifinals. Yeah. So definitely activity can start happening in transfer window, Tony. So what's your feeling, Gary? Gary's getting a little bit anxious, like I can tell. But what's your feeling, Tony?
I'm like Gary. I think this business should be done earlier. I'll go back to the BDS. We know what that means between us.
Yeah. We're going to cut out all that
Yeah,
stuff.
Stefan.
We're going to clean it up as we move on. Stefan, thanks for joining us. My phone is playing up big time when I comment. But good evening, gentlemen. Thanks for joining, Stefan, as always.
Yeah, but I'm with Gary. Smith Rowe should have been done before the season's end. Tierney should have been done before the season's end. The players you're looking at that has buyout clauses, and that should have been done. Any free agent should have been done. And here we are 3 weeks after the window's open and we haven't signed anybody.
Brownie said if a player wants to wait until last minute to look at all the other offers on the table, then they're entitled to do that. As some players maybe have other clubs' fourth or fifth choice. I thought Gary and Tony, what we would do, and I think Alonso's going to join us a little bit later. What we do is go through the team and talk about our solutions, our options inside and out. We're going to have some solutions within the club, and we're going to have some solutions that we possibly. So we'll start clockwise.
I wanted to say something to Brownie's point.
Yep.
There was nobody after Onana. As far as the
early doors,
as far as Twitter was concerned, we could have
closed Ben White.
We could have closed that one already.
Ben White.
There's nobody after Matt Ryan, and we know we need him at least, right? At the least, we need Matt Ryan. So why is it not finished off? Right? They didn't need him where Southampton, right, is where he is. They didn't use him. That's why he was able to come to us. So why is that not closed out? We need a second goalkeeper. So regardless of if Onana's coming or not, we still need a Matt Ryan. So yeah, I get that, but there's a lot of players that Arsenal's looking at that there wasn't many people looking at them. But the longer it drags out, other people's names pop up. Maybe some is false, maybe some is true, but there are teams out there closing business right now, right?
Yeah, so. There's a few teams doing that, and the transfer market is definitely going to start heating up. So now is a good time, I thought, to look at our solutions inside and out. Some of them we're not going to know as the summer unfolds, Tony. We're going to get surprised by things. But let's go through the goalkeepers. Let's talk about our options, Tony. A goalkeeping situation. Gary actually debuted, I think, his first podcast. We did a recorded podcast. We went through the whole squad. Gary will remember we were flushed with two really good goalkeepers at the time. Martinez and Bernd Leno. Situation has evolved 1 year later, Tony, to now we have a Bernd Leno who basically has said he's going to take a look around. He's open to offers, possibly Onana coming in. And what other options do we have as goalkeeper? Aaron Ramsdale is the other one.
And he's also kind of said he's dedicated to the club too, so it's kind of hard to know if he's just looking for offers or I'm sure he's waiting for Bayern or some big German club to come knocking at the door. But for me, I'm with Gary. You go re-sign Ryan, even if it's for 2 years or whatever. You go get Onana since he can't play until November. And then if Leno wants to leave, sell him in the summer or winter window for more money than you get in the summer.
So, Tony, I think the situation, Matt Ryan did really well on his loan this past half season since January.
But we still didn't see enough of him.
Yeah, we didn't see enough of him, but we saw enough to think that he would do a good job for us, at least at backup. And worst case scenario, could step in as the starting goalkeeper. I thought
he could talk to Gabriel in Spanish.
And as Brownie mentioned here, I was about to mention Celtic are also interested in Ryan and their new coaches. So, he may have an opportunity to go to Celtic and start games, whereas Bernd Leno is Arteta sees Bernd Leno as a starter this season. Still to you, Tony?
No.
Gary?
Sorry, I didn't know if you were asking me or no, or you were just commenting. Sorry, go ahead. What was that?
Commenting. Matt Ryan may want to go to Celtic. He's going to start there, Gary.
Yeah. Yeah, if he gets to start, I guess he's going to be gone. But he could have been here and still wanted to leave, right? So, that could have happened too. I don't think that I've seen that where players change teams and then switched again. But yeah, but if you could make some extra money on it, then you would. Um,
Norma said
did
that.
Arsenal know that the Celtic new coach was going to be his former coach
No,
when the season
Oh,
ended? I don't know. So like I said, these
Things
are things
evolve.
that could. These are So the longer you wait around, things will change, right? And
Yeah.
that's essentially what's happened here.
Yes.
We waited long enough that the things have gone against us. Now he has options, right? Player who doesn't have the options, and you're able to get in there sooner than later. Why not? Right? This could happen anywhere.
So
I see. Yep, go ahead.
tonight we're going to go right through the team. So don't worry, we're going to get to Nuno Tavares, we're going to get to Locatelli, we're going to get to Ben White. We're going to go through all of the positions and have an opportunity to talk. Norma has said we need a smart signing. An example, we could sign Locatelli and Renato Sanchez for a combined fee of 70 to 95 million. Yeah, definitely. I mean, we need to be smart in the market. But Gary, looking back in hindsight, 12 months ago, we talked about Martinez and Leno. Do you think the goalkeeping position is in any way, shape, or form more solid now than it was 12 months ago? No.
Yeah. What? No, we had two goalkeepers that we could have kept either one of them, and we would have been happy. Now we've got one, and he's talking about, I've got options, right? He might want to leave. So no, this is worse, and part of it, I think, is the way the team is set up. Part of it's his performances. I don't know why he thinks, I don't know what he's shown that would lead him to believe he could leave, right? Arsenal could move on from him if they wanted to. They had a chance last season. They didn't do it. They said, nope, we got our number one. He plays. And you know what? The pressure was, if I have no doubt if Emi Martinez was still on the team, at least for the first 6 months, we would have saw a totally different Leno, because he would have had somebody sitting on the bench that could come in and do a job just like him, right?
Yeah, they would have lent each other competition.
Yeah.
And as Brownie said, you mentioned, Gary, I want to put this back to you because you actually perfectly put a question to us here at the channel 12 months ago. You said something like, what if we don't improve our position?
I did, and I was kind of like tongue in cheek saying it because I didn't really think it would happen, but we actually, we pretty much didn't know better than we did the previous season, and to some degree we've improved in different areas, right? We now know we've got a Milsrud. We know Saka is actually a good player, right? We know if we'll get a healthy Tierney, we're good there. Partey gave us glimpses, right? So what, 4 or 5? Pepe, right? Pepe showed up for us. So that's 5 players right there from the previous season that we know we need, right? We need healthy, definitely, in terms of Tierney, but all the other players have improved from the previous season. So that's an improvement, but as a whole, not so much, right? And the reason why I said that is because I thought, you know what, we're going to play a lot better football, but we're just not going to have enough to keep up with everybody else. And
With everybody else.
So the Villas, the Leicester Cities. I mean, West Ham. All these teams were competing with us. They're ahead of us on the table for a lot of the season. We were able to catch some of them, right? But just not enough. Too many teams in front of us.
Tony,
chances.
Tony, great camera angle there. You've got the K9 in there as well. Great camera angle. Yeah, so as Gary said, we've improved in a lot of areas. We still, second season running, 8th place finish, but we're without European football, which is what Brownie is staying in lockstep with me. No European football, so in some ways that's not great. Goalkeeper position is something, especially in the backup. Where do you see Aaron Ramsdale? And how do you see the club going after that? Sheffield United are asking a lot of money here for what could be a backup goalkeeper.
I think it's too much money. I'd just go for Onana. He was valued at $70 million a year and a half ago. Now you can get him for $7 million. So go get him.
Yeah, Gary, it seems like we're being asked to pay the English tax here with a lot of players. We're going to touch on Ben White a little bit. The same thing's happening there. And, Aaron Ramsdale, close to 30 million now for 25, 30 million for a goalkeeper.
Makes no sense, right? But you might as well just keep it Leno.
Unless he's going to be, at some point, your starting goalkeeper.
Well, that's no. Right, that's why I have a Nana. That's why a Nana seems like a really good option. Is there something I don't know? Why that attention has come off of him and all. You don't see much in the way of media reports coming out about us even talking about him anymore. So I don't know if that means it's done. Some people say a lot of things tie down, and then they're like, oh, you know what? It's died down because it's already done. They're just waiting for a time or whatever. Right, because they said the Ben White thing is done, but who knows? But yeah, no, I don't. That's no. I mean, there were other goalkeepers out there, that were legitimate starters that would improve us. Ramsdale right now, I don't know. Yeah.
I heard somewhere that Sheffield United supporters said that he was their player of the year. I mean, he definitely got a lot of practice last season.
Same thing for Leno, right? Leno in the last couple of years has got a lot of attention because the defense in front of him was not so good, right?
Mm-hmm. So here we are. Basically, I'm going to call this the start of the transfer window. Here we are at the start of the transfer window. We're not going to know until into August. Maybe they'll take it as late as that, where our team's going to be and where our goalkeeping position is going to be at. Tony, you want to dive into the center back situation right now?
I was just going to say one more thing about the goalkeeper before we moved on. To me, I've said it before. I think just he never had a solid pairing in front of him or to either one of the sides. Or just kept on shuffling in center backs left and right. We never went with two lefts, which I think would have worked. We kept changing our right back up every other game. You never knew if Tierney was going to be fit. He put Xhaka back there when we needed Xhaka back there. We knew Xhaka worked great back there, but we wouldn't do that until a game that didn't matter.
Yep.
But on the center backs, I don't think we need to be spending $50 million. If we were to spend that much, we should have went with Konate or Upamecano for $35 to $40 million. I don't know why we're spending $55 million for White or whatever his prices they get driven up to.
Yeah, where's your line there? I mean, okay, you probably wouldn't want to spend that amount of money, but where do you think the club should say enough is enough when it comes to Ben White?
I say $50 million's plenty.
Yeah, anything past $50 million is, Brighton are just having us on at that point in time.
Yep. I mean,
walk away.
Well, no, I mean, nobody's out there. We're like they said, we are kind of battling ourselves to get this player.
And supposedly Everton are in for him now.
Well, yeah, I guess you would. Like I said, if you wait around long enough, something will come up. Once if you let Arsenal come in, talk, figure out what the price, what their price is, what their level, where they want to go, and then you just bump it up a little bit, and then you move on. All right. So Arsenal did all the work. Started really low. If that's the case, gets to a point where Arsenal says, I can't do this for another $5 million. Right? Because that's usually where it is. Right? It always seems to be, all right, it's another $5 million, and then Arsenal says no, and then boom, you come in, and if you're okay with that number, you do it, right? So we are doing a lot of our other teams' work, I guess, because we go.
I like to hear those price discussions. Be like a 5-hour phone call. 20 million and £1. 20 million and £2. No, we want 25.
Norma said, and I think this is going back to the goalkeepers, he was valued at 40 million. This could have been Leno a year ago and plays the same style Arteta plays, passing the ball out the back, a bargain. Have you seen the clip of Onana skiing with the ball and humiliated someone? So that was Onana. We could get him at a good price. phone is going mad with these bloody pop-ups. Any suggestion? Any pop-ups for any suggestions for Stefan? Just having pop-ups.
I guess the usual Control Delete, right? Restart the phone. I guess. Hopefully, all that stuff goes away.
Tony, so we're going to get into a right central, mid central defender discussion, but let's just cover the left central defender. I think we're pretty well set there. Gabriel will probably progress again this season and should be the first choice for me. Gabriel should be in the left central defensive position. Pablo Mari, you know my thoughts on Pablo Mari. I think he's a very, very good backup player. And
I think he's the next Maldini. You don't think he's a backup player. You think he's a Beaver starter.
I think he's a very competent starter, but I've said just a moment ago, Gabriel should be starting in the Premier League.
You can start both of them.
Possibly. Gary, where do you stand on that? You're happy with those
right
two?
Now they would be our starters. They should be, right? Right now, today. They should be our starters right now. So that should So then you go from here and go, you know what? If we can find a right center back, that's better than Murray. Then he goes in there, right? If that's how it's going to work. I mean, I don't know. I kind of feel like when you had Luis in there, and he would get all the space he needed, right? So I think if you wanted somebody to play behind him, that's fine. But if you look at a lot of the YouTube videos on Ben White, you can see what Arteta, I assume, is looking at. He's got his long passes, right? So he can do the long passes like what we saw from Luis.
He can carry the ball out from the fence.
Yeah, Gabriel won't. He'll dribble up, but he's not. He doesn't make those long passes, and timely passes and passes on the end of an attacker. So, yeah, I mean if that's what they're looking for, that's good. But does that hurt the defense? Because I believe Luis actually didn't hurt the defense as much as a Ben White would right now. So maybe our offense gets better. Maybe we get back. We get back to those high scoring games, right? Where we're winning 3-2, because we just can't keep the defense right. So until the players get better on the defensive side.
I think it would come down to some coaching. That if Ben White is going to be carrying the ball out from the back, your right back may have to tuck in a little bit. Your left central defender would have to come over a little bit. We've seen some instances, especially the Wolves away game, where Holding was not aware of the danger that David Luiz was creating in that game.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's somebody's got it. Somebody has to take that reign, right? When they see their partner go up the field, you have. If you don't know where your partner's way up, because that goes back to the Wolf game, right? He should have known, right, that Luiz is out of position and left him alone on an island.
Yeah,
he didn't. And that's how they were able to make that run at the goal, right?
Thinking about his cup of tea at halftime.
That's one of the things where I'm like, I don't know what they like. He's always there for the show. He never is there to clean up the mess, right? He can clean up the mess. I mean, we asked Leno to do that, right? The defense is a little leaky in front of him. He gets shots pinged at him all game. He makes those stops easy because he doesn't have to think about it, and he does that really well, right? You give him a better defense and spacing, and say, you know what, go out and get this ball, this cross that comes in, and we're a little scared, right? So, yeah, I mean, you have to. This is one of those things I always said. You got to back up your players, and I don't think Holding did that enough. Enough for me, anyways. I mean, it was never his fault, right? It was never his fault that a player was able to run on the back line of the Arsenal defense. But you have to see that danger before, right? Because you got the Wolves game, you've got the Cedric, the Cedric mishap, right?
Aston Villa away.
Right? He doesn't. What does he do? He doesn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
He
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
make, he doesn't do anything, and
We
he's supposed to be a center back in the last line of defense, and he doesn't do that, right? Sometimes you're gonna have to, take the yellow, right? Come out and just bring the guy down because somebody really like Cedric really messed up in that situation. Louise really messed up in that situation, but nobody backed them up, right?
Yep, yep.
So
As Stefan said, 50 million. Wow, and I think we'd have to draw the line there. 50 million when all
that
said
should
and
be the
done.
max, right? Just give him 50
Yeah,
million up front, so there's no extras you need at that point.
yeah.
If they don't take the 50, then you're done and you move on, right? Dilly dallying for 5 million when you put 45 in there, and if that's your max, then you're done.
Don't want to spend too much time on this one, Tony, but when I mentioned Saliba, because it's something we've talked about extensively, but yeah, we do need to mention the name Saliba when it comes to the right central defensive position. You've got potentially Ben White, which I believe is extensively all done apart from the player signing. I think that will happen eventually. That's my feeling. I think that the the latest news about Everton at the last hour, I think it's just shithousery from the newspaper. But where does Saliba enter into the Ben White and Holding discussion?
Oh, you really don't know since you've never seen him play. I don't think preseasons would be enough to make a decision. I guess you see what he does until August 30th and see if he's good enough to play or send him out on loan or sell him. I still don't think he's ever going to play for us. There's something we don't know between him and Arteta and the club. I still think it stems from him not being able to play in the French Cup final. But who knows?
Yeah, and Tony, I'll stay with you for a second. The latest news was he had the opportunity to go to Rennes, but Rennes actually stalled on it a little bit, and he got left. He got left on the long finger.
Yeah. He also wanted to stay at Nice. Supposedly, he wanted to stay there for another year or permanently. Kind of wasn't concrete on what he wanted to do, but
Gary, there's nothing. Tony, go ahead.
then there's the rumor that we're going to sign him for 2 more years and still send him out on loan.
To Newcastle, right? Gary, there's been nothing straightforward about William Saliba and Arsenal for the last 2 years.
Yeah, if William Saliba was English, would they have sent him away to outside of the Premier League or the Championship?
Definitely
He'll be
not.
a homegrown player next season.
Right. So for me, if he is intending to play for Arsenal, then all that stuff has happened to him, right? Because a lot of that stuff is not on. He had nothing to do with any of that, but it just has happened to him, right? All the family situation that happened to him. Wouldn't you want to keep them closer to home, right? If this was Wenger and it was a French player, he would have treated the situation a little bit differently, right? Because he would have said, "Arsenal is your home, Arsenal is your family, and we're going to do the best we can." And he probably wouldn't have wanted to go because Wenger carries a little bit better. He's got a lot of his CV is a lot bigger, right? But
more weight. Yeah.
But Arteta was part of that. He saw how Wenger worked. He saw how Pep works. So he sees how some of the biggest managers in the world, how they react with their players, right? This is a player that needed a same. This is one of those things where we say at some point the manager's going to have to put his hand around on the shoulder of the player, right, and go, you know what, we got you, right? We got you. If he's going to go back to France, send him back to France and find all the options. And I know Rennes didn't work out, but when did that fall apart? 7 days before the end of the window. By then, you're not, you got to have a contingency there because you don't want to at that point waste your player's career, right? Did he not why wasn't he not on the Europa League roster? what player that was on so many players played in that Europa that left the same time as he did, and none of them there was a plan for him to come back. So it wasn't as if, you know what, you let a Mustafi, you let Kolasinac, all these
I think
players,
Kolasinac was on that
right?
list. Yeah.
Right. So you know what? Nah. You bring in you like think about all the young players that should have been playing in that game that didn't get a chance and were gone in December, right? Nelson, the Millsroof Row, Willick, Nelson. I guess no, sorry, he could have gone, but he didn't want to. But then in Kedia, all these team players that probably got opportunities he did not, and he was probably the one, at least in my eyes, that had the most potential for a future with Arsenal than those other players that had been here. We've seen enough for them to know whether or not they're going to make it, unless things change in the way that they played. That didn't happen. So all four of those players, all four of those, academy players didn't work, right? That's the part that scares me with bringing in some of these younger players is, will we actually get them where they need to go? Milsroof Rowe and to me and Saka and Martinelli seem to be one-offs. That's not the norm, right?
The top level.
The top level young players where we're just going to get better and better every time you put them out there.
Yeah, look how many academy players left this week.
Yeah. And we've got like 4 academy players that I don't know.
You're itching to come in.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, they want to play. Well, I think that's the part that scares me about bringing in some of these younger players. Are we going to be actually able to get them to where they need to be? Right. So when you get to some of these players, we'll talk about it. But like a Ben White, for example, right? He comes in, he's got some deficiencies that he needs to improve on, right? His defense.
Yep.
Who's gonna get him to where we're not missing the Luis, right? On the defense.
Slide Chambers over there.
I think Ben White is a way to go to be a David Luiz in terms of leadership. I think that's got to grow.
Yeah, no, not leadership. We're not buying Ben White for leadership, right?
Yeah, but also I want to get Norma's comment in here. I completely agree with Norma and her comment here. I don't know. I'll go to Tony and Gary and see what they say. Saliba got into the French Player of the Year. He needs to be given a chance, despite everything that happened to him. At least the tragedy of death of his mother. And I think he lost his father as well, unfortunately. He does need to be given a chance. Tony, where do you stand on that? It's just a travesty that after 2 years, he hasn't actually played a competitive game for Arsenal.
He should have been given a chance last year. I never liked the deal to start with, buying a player and sending him back to their club on loan.
Well, we were supposed to be outsmarting the market at the time. I think we outsmarted ourselves in the end, if it ends this way.
The truth about it is center backs are probably the hardest to scout, especially at young ages.
Yeah.
And it's a big gamble to pay that much for him. And we don't know how it's going to turn out. We don't know if Arteta's going to give him a shot or not. If he goes and plays in the Olympics this summer, he's not going to be given a chance in the friendlies and stuff we'll be playing in the preseason.
And Gary, Tony said big risk to play young players, but surely we should have done that last season when we were, blooding some of the younger players in our team. Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe, who have that pure talent. Saliba could have learned a lot last season.
We talked about that, right? I mean, over this last season, we talked about how if you're, because we talked about that with Balogun, right? You're looking at Saka, you're looking at Milsroof Rowe. Well, don't you want to follow in their footsteps? Because, those are, in the Premier League at least, 2 of the up-and-coming players, Saka being at the top, close to the top, if not the top, and Milsroof Rowe being a vital part to this team, and other teams, are taking notice on him, right? So Saliba should have been the next one with Martinelli after he got healthy, coming in and maybe being the 2 new players coming in and growing with the team, getting better. I mean, I think there was a stat there, Saliba in 6 months, was what is it on,
French Player of the Year.
One of the French
team of the year, right?
Yep. So they obviously see something, and also to me that this means, based on what I'm hearing from Arsenal, is they did not do any scouting on him.
We don't have any scouts, Gary.
Well, yeah. So what are you going to get out of a practice? Do you remember that line, Ray? What's
It's all about training to
No.
Arteta.
No. What is the line, Ray? You live in Pennsylvania. You live in Philadelphia. What's the line when it comes to practice?
Play how you practice.
Oh my gosh! Come on, Tony.
You were
Help
living
me.
in the States then.
Yeah, you were.
Leave it all on the field.
Oh my gosh!
Practice.
Iverson, I'll give you a
We're
hint.
talking
Iverson.
about practice.
Talking about practice here.
Iverson.
Not a game. Not a game.
Allen Iverson, Ray.
Well,
No, what I'm saying is if he has to come in and then practice really well to get on this team, then yeah, whatever we're doing isn't working. All right. What he's done, nobody looks at practice and goes, you know what, I got a spot for you. No way. Gabriel
Arteta
came in.
does.
Gabriel came in.
Training's all that matters.
He didn't come in. He didn't come in from what he did in practice.
Are you
Right?
sure?
Yeah, he played from the start. He started.
Partey didn't come in because of what he did in practice.
Yeah.
Right?
Gabriel
Ceballos didn't come in because of practice.
Yeah.
William didn't come in because of practice. Odegaard did not come in because of practice. Matt Ryan did not come in because
all right.
every other player that came in.
We got
right?
it.
But for some reason, Saliba has to show us in practice that he's worthy of a spot on this team.
Yeah.
And this team
maybe-
had Mustafi, Kolasinac on it, right?
Gary, maybe, and Stefan. I know it's late in England, but we are going to be back on Sunday at a normal hour, UK time. Gary, I think lost my train of thought a little bit, but
Sorry.
Arsene Wenger famously said you're going to lose points if you play young defenders. I think maybe Arteta heard Arsene Wenger say that at one point in time in his playing career, and it stuck with him.
So Gabriel not young?
He's not as young as
Not as
Saliba.
young. Okay.
Anyway,
You got Mari,
So, okay, tell me this. So if Saka were to play right back, if Saka was to play right back, would he say that? Or left back?
if Bukayo Saka,
Yeah, if he had to play right back or left back.
no, he
Would
would
that-
not play that.
No, so it's not about just age.
I'm going to go to the money man here for Norma's question, and the Treasury, the Department of Treasury here to this side of me. If the Swiss wins at least fourth place in Euros, what will you value Xhaka? For me, it will have to be a minimum of 35 million. We're in the semifinals, right, or the quarterfinals?
Quarterfinals.
Quarterfinals, okay. Yeah, so if Granit Xhaka moves on another stage, it will have to be a minimum of 35 million. I think it would be hard pressed to get 35 million for Granit Xhaka, Tony.
Yeah, we can't even get 20 million euros for him right now. We're haggling over that deal.
I think we could get close to 20 million, a little over 20 million, if he's been that vital to the Swiss team and gotten them to the semi-final.
I don't know. I think the max we would get if Juventus keeps their interest in him is 25 million pounds, but
Yeah.
I don't think that's too likely.
I don't think any player's worth is going to double, because that's what they would be looking at. If we're
In
going
the
to get around
space,
35,
in the space for a tournament, not going to double in the space for a tournament. Gary, as I said, Ben White, I'm personally quite confident about Ben White. How would you feel if we get Ben White over the line, irrespective of what we do with Saliba or Holding? One of the other two, one of those two will probably go on loan. Would that make you kind of happy in central defense?
No, because we still have Holding.
We'd still have Holding. Well, let's say Holding goes on loan, and you got Saliba and Ben White.
I think I'll take that.
You live
I'll
with
take
that,
Yeah.
Tony.
Because also
Yeah.
what I can see with that is, I was gonna say, no, we just don't, because right now we don't even have a right center back that is our leader, right? We have a left center back in Marie if he can beat out Gabriel, which I doubt, right? But you play three at the back, maybe things are a little different there. But yeah, I like that. Saliba should. I mean, it's just a lot of waste of money there. I just think you can't just keep wasting money like that and
Mhm.
not actually figure out whether or not he's worthy, and then send him away on loan again for what reason? Let's figure out if he can do something for us. I mean,
You have an asset, use it.
he's not going to get. He's not. His worth isn't going up playing in France. If he played and came off the bench and showed his worth in the Premier League, I think he would command a little bit more money, right?
Tony, yeah, Tony, your feeling on that? We get Ben White over the line, 50 million. Saliba and Holding are the other options.
And you still got Chambers too. You can use him if you're buy a right back or not. To me, I'd sell Holding, have Saliba and Chambers as your backup to White.
And of course, we did extend Holding for that exact reason. If we did need to sell him at any point, we're going to get some reasonable amount of money for him. I think that's perfect.
I think we just give every defender 4 years, right? It doesn't matter if we're going to try to sell them.
You
Right?
really okay? When has that ever worked?
We'll see. We will see.
Well, that's what I know. But when has it worked? When has a
Not in
team
the
gone
past.
in? When has a team ever gone in and said, you know what, you got
Look
what a
towards
year
the
or two,
future. Look at
or
Ray's
1 or 2
rainbows,
years
man.
later, we're gonna give you a 4-year contract, and then we don't just write them off, or other teams, right?
Stefan, I'm sorry to hear about your mate's dad's who passed away. We will see you Sunday, hopefully, Stefan, and thanks for joining us tonight. Where were we? Segue to the right back situation because Tony's in love with Callum Chambers. Tony, as it stands, how do you feel about the right back situation as it stands?
Right now, you definitely sell Bellerin. You try to get as much money as you can, but it seems like his price is like Zaka and everyone else, about 20 million euros, like Torreira. It just seems like that's the max we can get out of those players. I'd get him out of the club. He doesn't want to be out of a club. Both our other options we used at right back looked better last year. If we got to spend the money to get one, we can, but I want it really. I don't think it's a high priority with Chambers and Cedric. I think we both can do a good enough job.
I tend to agree with you, actually. I was going to say this could be one of our solutions from the inside. I thought Callum Chambers did a reasonably good job at right back. If we solidify that right central defensive position, it's not Rob Holding, who has been prone to the odd mistake, in my opinion. Gary, what do you think? You need to go out and get a premium right back or a decent right back?
Some part of me does, but we've seen Chambers there, but will he last a season? I'm not sure. If he goes through a preseason ready to play right back, will he look consistently better there? I think so based on what I saw. I mean, we've seen him play that right back. What is it? Was it the West Ham game? Right? Yeah, the West Ham game is where he showed up really well there for us. So yeah, no, that might be a solution there, but at the midway through the season when we were looking at right back and looking at Cedric and Bellerin playing on that right side, did you think we had it in Chambers?
No.
It wasn't really on our radar. You thought that was an option for us, that Chambers would be the right back? I didn't really think of him in that.
He's kind of a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, well, that's the problem, right? We don't need too many, because we've got one in the sense that we've got Saka, right? He is actually a Swiss Army knife.
It's nice to have two or three.
He doesn't drop in form no matter where we put him on the field, right? We're not going to see a significant drop in his form and the way he plays, right? Chambers can play that. That's just like Cedric can play on the left or the right side, but it's not, his levels they're still lower to me than Saka. If he played there, right? So we need somebody that can play, in Saka's worst position better than him. and I feel like Chambers can't do that, right?
That's
You
a
know,
testimony to Saka's ability as well.
yeah. So
It
that's what
would
I'm
be a
saying. We need,
compliment right back.
yeah. I think it would be nice to get somebody better playing on that right side.
Yeah.
There were options out there, right? We were talking about Aaron's in the beginning. He's
Hmm.
we're
Still
saying,
out there.
if we're saying we were looking at Ben White, you would be saying the same thing about Matt Aaron's, right? Young player, still coming into his own, not fully there yet. Maybe some defensive deficiencies and stuff like that. But there's a talent there. You know, cost less, right? I know. And then you have Saliba, so you have a player. You probably, I mean, what I would like us to do somehow, like we did before, we found these older players that are coming to the end of their careers that could still give us something, right? And maybe they can, like I feel like leaving is probably one because I feel like we overworked him too much, just like Willian, right, and killed them a little bit. Um, Made it easy for them to want to leave and go play where it might be a little bit easier a game, less of a stress on the body, right? That's kind of what I feel. I didn't feel like they came to be starters and be somebody we have to lean on consistently every game, right? Because think about it, if Saliba was around and Saliba was playing behind Luis, I think he would have been better suited for this season, right? Because he
Yeah,
would have come
Luis
in, right?
Luis
Because
would have given
Luis,
him a lot of them.
right? Because you still have Marie that could have played next to Saliba, or you could you could even move Luis over and played him with Saliba, and get some experience for your players if you
Yep,
needed to, right?
yep, yep.
They didn't utilize that. The only person that benefited from it right now is Gabriel. So I kind of feel like we're taking a step back in the leadership role. So then we have to lean on Leno to be really good, right? And
Tony,
he's yeah.
sorry, Gary. Tony, did you have something to jump in with?
Yeah, we kind of forgot another internal solution back there at right back. Niles can easily play back there because he kind of pretty much saved us on the FA Cup run playing on the wing.
Yeah. That does seem to be a long shot at this point in both Ainsley Maitland-Niles' career and Arteta's tenure at the club.
Yeah,
Well,
still an option.
Well, I mean, we talk. There's so many players that are in that same boat, right?
Yep.
Arteta is the reason why it's not going to work, even though they have the talent to play the role and the positions, right? I mean, there's at least 3 players now: Saliba, Guendouzi, and Emil Smith-Rowe. I'm sorry, Ainsley.
Saliba,
Maitland-Niles, right?
Guendouzi, Ainsley Maitland-Niles.
Yeah.
You
So
could say Torreira.
you think about it. There's three young players that have talent that need a little bit. They need. I think they need some. They need some coaching and management, and they're not getting it. So then it's easy to just let them go and let that talent walk out the door and get better with somebody else.
Yeah, we've seen it with Willock.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm going to mention Willock in a few minutes, but we have to get to the left back position. Tony, news this week: Nuno Tavares I signed, and a lot of people are feeling underwhelmed about it. But you know what? I believe this is the perfect kind of acquisition that Arsenal needed in that position. It's not going to hold back Kieran Tierney. He's still going to hit about 24, 25, 26 league games a season, we hope. And he's not going to be injured as much. Tavares might only get on the field for 6 to 8 games in the league, Tony.
Yeah, I think it's a good option. I would go with somebody young like him, somebody who can deputize under him, somebody that can sit there and learn. I think it would be a good signing. I think we get too wrapped up in names and prices and all that. It's what they can offer and how much do we need that type of player.
Gary, I think it's a player we faced in the Europa League. I think we actually played against him. with Benfica, 8 million plus add-ons. I think the price is about right for the left back position. That was, for me, was the cause. I mean, Arteta went with Granit Xhaka in the end, but that was the primary reason why I think we went out of the Europa League at the semi-final stage.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because every time we bring up one of these players, right? There's always a catch, right? Same thing with Tavares, right? He came in Benfica. He was the one that was there that gave up the cross from Saka, right? That that was used to win that match. So but he is young. If you I got his video running here as you go through and you see him, and
Yep.
like he gives you energy, right?
That's it.
He gives you energy, and we need that.
Energy, but not a lot more than that. He needs to hone in on certain things.
But that's that's why it's a perfect thing, because it's one of those things where he can give you, he probably has a lot more go than Tierney does, right? As far as one of some of the skills that he has is that he's probably a lot more faster, got more pace, right? But I guess like they said that another video from the
we can't let it go, right? Norma cues it up perfectly. Might be on some suspicious business with his dogs, but it is potentially a future star.
Yeah, he's got talent in there, and you know what? The question once again is, you bring him in, will Arteta get him from where he is in these YouTube videos that we see now to somebody that Kieran Tierney, we're gonna sit you out this game, and we're not gonna be too concerned about it as much, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where we want to be before the end of the season, right? Where Tavares can come in and give us some good minutes, right? Or else, it's not good. He's gonna have to play one anyways, so he's gonna have to be ready to go when they call on him. I mean,
he's definitely gonna play 6 to 10 games this season, Gary.
Yeah. So no, I think it would, and we feel like that is done, right? Done. That's like the first signing, right?
You've always got that smile on your face, like you just can't believe it.
Well, there's always, like right now, the last thing they said is a medical, right? So he needs to come into the country to get a medical. When I've heard other players get that all done before, so I don't know. When is it not? When is it used? Outside the country, and when does it have to be in the country? All right. So,
Tony, I believe we came across Nuno Tavares when we were exploring a loan or a part of a swap deal with Guendouzi and the club of Benfica when they inquired about him. So, Guendouzi was originally going to be part of the deal, but now obviously maybe going to Olympique Marseille. We'll touch on Guendouzi when we get into midfield. But Tony, definitely that video about the dogs, it's going to be a meme that Arsenal fans will be tortured with whenever, if Tavares will make a mistake for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I haven't seen the video yet, but
the dogs are cleaning his teeth.
Basically, yeah.
Oh wait, yeah, I've seen it. Never mind.
Listen, that's got nothing to do with his football ability. So hopefully, Tony, he can. I think you already said you like the what the club's doing there. They're trying to go and get a young player. He's 3.5 years younger than Kieran Tierney. So hopefully he can use those 3.5 years to develop. And Liverpool signed the left back last season that didn't get into their first team all of last season in Tsimikas. So this is something maybe Tavares he's going to be at the club, and the coaches will develop him as well.
Yeah, maybe we'll be surprised like him, like we were Gabriel last season. Nobody knew who he was. Came in, was probably the player of the season until he got COVID.
Yeah, so we're hearing Gary. He's a raw player, but it's something that I've got a good feeling about. The club is moving in the right way about filling a position that you couldn't sign a recognized left back because Kieran Tierney is one. He's going to get on the team sheet anytime he's fit, Gary.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. So it's just
Any other?
you need somebody raw. You need somebody they can come in like if you needed to pull Tierney for the last 15, 20 minutes of a match, right? Who's played the position and give him some simple instructions and let him go. But that's going to be the question is can he comes in, will they get him to where they can put him on the field? Because Arteta seems to have certain rules as to how players get on the field, right? They have to practice a certain way.
If we have a situation where Kieran Tierney's injured and he's the recognized backup, then he needs to play for me this season.
Yeah.
Don't go messing around. And what's good about this as well, Gary, is that we have now freed up Bukayo Saka to actually play in the forward positions.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, until something happens on the right side, unless we got a new right back, right?
Yeah.
Right. So that's the nice thing about having him, but that's a bad thing. For having them is that you do have a backup, and they can screw up that. They can screw up the left or right back, and they know they have a fallout plan. When in fact they should just be getting. I think Nuno is a good player to bring in. The sooner the better, so he can be ready to go. Right, we got 12 days, I think it is, until the season starts. So they need to get that stuff out of the way, get him in, get him working with Arteta and the coaches.
The Scottish tour is coming up very quickly. Tony, any other thoughts on the defensive positions across the board?
We got to get rid of Kolasinac if we buy out his contract instead of
forgot about
loaning him out or whatever. Just buy him out, get rid of him.
Kolasinac is still a player.
Time to say adios.
Yeah. You can take his colossal snatch somewhere else, Gary.
Why? Yeah. Why is that still?
I thought we were supposed to keep it clean, right?
That is clean.
It's not. No, it's not clean, Ray.
All right. I'm sorry. I apologize. Any other thoughts then, Gary? On the
I was just going to say on Kolasinac is another one of those things that should have been sorted out. Is he part of their future? No, right? So what are we waiting on?
Yep.
You know what? Either buy him out so that if he does sign up, you get some monies back, right? Right? You can buy him out with a deal in place that says if you do go somewhere else, we'll get some of that money back, right?
Mm-hmm. Gary, contrary to a year ago when we went through the squad, I would say the 4 defensive positions have been upgraded from 12 months ago. Overall,
no.
The last season we had who do we have? Mustafi was at the club. We had
I was thinking of I was thinking of starting day, because starting day.
No, just squad wise.
Squad wise, yeah, we're better because what we've done is remove.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't really added. We added Gabriel, and that was it, right? Everybody else
we added Gabriel, and now we've added Tavares, who's cover for Kieran Tierney.
Yep.
And potentially Ben White.
And subtracted Mavropanos, Mustafi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's Luis, right?
So Luis is the Tony. Luis is the X factor. Not as in Granit Xhaka, but the X factor in our defense. We don't know what we're going to lose until we play without David Luiz.
Yeah, well,
I think we got enough leadership in the squad to make.
That's the thing. I would have liked to have seen it last year. Because the leadership that you're talking about, I don't think we saw it, because you got Luiz, you have Xhaka, you have Lacazette, and those are 3 players that potentially could be gone.
And I think we're in a position where we can and are going to move on from David Luiz. Norma brings me a great segue here. Willock, we're going to go into midfield now, central midfield. Willock, rumors of him staying or leaving has massively calmed down. Do we need him or sell him for every single penny he is worth? Norma, I'm going to say something controversial that the other two may probably know where I'm going on with this. The talk of Partey's partner has cooled down a lot. Not like Gary's coffee there. Um, I'm potentially thinking Willock should be tried to play in tandem with Partey. Is that crazy, Tony?
I think Party should be used by himself, and you partnering with Smith Rowe up front so he can get up there and score. He's not a scorer being back there with
Would
Party unless
you
you're
would you be willing
running
to
him.
put Willock? Would you be willing to throw Willock into the team in the starting lineup?
I'd definitely give him a shot.
Yeah.
I thought he was good way back when Emery was there. I think he got wore out and he kind of got just fed up with the team quitting on the coach and getting a new manager, and new manager not giving him a chance at all. Didn't give him a chance when Arteta first came. Didn't get a chance last season. Then he goes out on loan, scores 7 goals, and kind of
Yeah.
opened Arteta's eyes maybe.
You
Finally.
put a Willock in the team. You give him minutes. You suffer the negative side of him. Maybe Partey balances that out. And as Norma said here, I think Tony and I want to keep him. Norma. Now the question goes to Gary. What do you want to do with Willock, Gary?
Oh, I would be expecting something to change for us to keep him. Like, is Arteta,
Well,
is Arteta
it-
actually going to use him in a space that he can, you know,
Possibly.
we always say putting players in positions they can succeed in. So,
Arsenal, we're supposed to have talks about a new role for him, so we'll find out what that means.
yeah,
A
but
new role.
what happened? Did he go? He
Um,
went out there and actually played, and that's the only reason why now the
What-
message
I think the
changed.
question, Gary, is more what is going to happen. Are we going to go get Basuma? Lakonga is going to come in, but I think that leaves a space for Willock to come into midfield.
It kind of goes back to the whole training thing. He didn't see enough in training, then he goes off and plays somewhere else. He's like, oh, that guy actually has talent.
See, that's my concern is that we don't, the same thing, the same scenario that is going to get Saliba on this team is the same scenario that got Willock off this team and got him in Newcastle, right?
Yep.
Practice, right? We talk about practice being where you make or break it with this team. Saliba needs it to stay on it. Willock didn't do enough, and he's out. So I don't. So something's. So which one is it, right? What's going on, right? What's happening here? You know?
As you know, Willock was given minutes in the Europa League, Gary, and he weighed in with 3 goals in the Europa League group stages. My contention is if that Arteta had the conviction to play him more, give him more minutes in the league, he would have scored more goals in the league for Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean,
As
he played
well.
He played 5 matches, scored 3 goals, had 3 assists
Yep.
in the Europa League,
In the Europa League.
right?
Yep.
I don't know what more do you need to see from him. What was he doing wrong that you can utilize that skill set?
He wasn't
In the
doing
Premier
enough in
League.
training, Gary. Apparently.
Tony's playing devil's
He
advocate.
had, he had more
I'm not playing
contributions.
devil's
He had
advocate.
more
I'm playing
contributions to
Lego
goals in
binary
5 games in the
for
Europa.
dummies.
I don't care who we played, right?
Yeah.
Not everybody was doing that. I'm like looking at his stats right now.
hmm
3 goals, 3 assists, 5 games.
Yep. In the Europa League. I mean, we have to recognize it was against Dundalk, Molde,
matter.
and
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but look
Doesn't
at players like Lacazette. He started the season, scored 3 goals in 3 games, and he got benched for Eddie. Then
All
I think
Round winner, Eddie
I
went
think
to
to me
nowhere's land.
that's just an excuse, right? You put because we keep talking about putting these players in these types of games and then evaluating them on it, and then when they go in there and they excel, they excel, then we say, it was against this team and that team.
no, I mean,
No, but that's what you said
Yeah.
because that's what the thinking is. Well, he didn't play anybody, so those stats are flawed. They're not really true. No, you go out there, you perform, and you show your worth. Yes, is he gonna get 6 contributions in 5 matches in the Premier League? No, nobody. How many people actually do that? Right?
that's
No, not too. No, I mean,
great stuff.
think about it. Harry Kane had what? 24 goals, 13 assists, right? That's not a 1-to-1 in goal contributions in a season, and he was the top player in terms of offensive player, right? When you look at that stat, so if you're doing that against lower, that means that's good, because then if it does bring you down, you expect it to drop, but look, if I put him in certain situations, he's going to excel. Especially like if you notice, we saw, you look at Willick, and he came in late in games when they needed to score. How many times we
Yeah,
needed to score and we couldn't go to the
yeah.
bench and
He
find
was
somebody to bring
he was
something
given
different to the game?
he was given situations where he had to almost try to rescue a point or win a game with 10, 15 minutes. It's very difficult to come in
And he
those
did that
situations.
consistently. And how often did we look at the bench and go, who are we going to bring on? Martinelli was the answer every time, because he was the only one there, right?
So Gary, what are you doing with Willock?
Well, if I'm Arteta, based on what I saw last year, I'm not changing my ways. So Willock should be sold, because I'm not expecting him to do anything different with him.
If you're Gary, what are you doing?
If I'm Gary, then I'm finding a way to utilize him, because I've seen him play well for us and help us win. Help us when we. I believe he contributed in the run to the FA Cup. Right, I believe. I know Nelson did, but I'm trying to think if Willock did. I
He
can't
got
remember.
a goal, I think, against either Bournemouth or Portsmouth.
That's early.
Yeah.
So no, maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of Nelson when I'm thinking of some of the youth that contributed. But I thought Willock also contributed in one of those games that we needed. But I can't remember now. But he's shown. Think about it. What? 7 games out of 7 in a row.
It's amazing.
Does it matter?
And Spurs, Liverpool, big games. West Ham.
He played 6 teams in the top 10 or something ridiculous like that. Scored on all of them.
Yep.
What, they weren't trying to
stop him? It always amazes me, Tony. It always amazes me when a player is playing for a contract. I'm not demeaning what he did. I think it was brilliant that we were all cheering it. Players playing for a contract or trying to impress. They play really, really, really well, and when the pressure's off, they back off a little bit. But I think we all agree here, Joe Willock should be tried this season in Arsenal's midfield. He's earned that right.
He should have been played when Arteta first came in. He never played him because Emery was playing him all the time, and Arteta came in and didn't play him. Didn't play him last season. Sent him out on loan, and seen what he did. Scoring goals left and right.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's opened his eyes instead of looking at training or whatever the hell he looks at.
Gary's itching to say something.
No. I was just gonna say, what did Ceballos and Elneny do that Willock can't do?
Yeah, definitely.
No.
Right. And I wouldn't say Elneny and Ceballos, because I rate Elneny and Ceballos.
No, but what I'm saying is, I think for more of the positives or more of the pros from Willock, the cons, where Elneny is going to give you consistent play. I'll take some of those pros though, because they're much better than what you're going to get from an Elneny, right?
Yep.
So that's to me. So you take that risk, right? He's going to make a little bit of. He might turn the ball over in midfield, right? But Partey's there, right? So if he's moving forward and he loses the ball, Partey's there, right?
Recover, exactly.
Right. So and if he doesn't lose the ball, then we are attacking, because we've got Saka, Pepe, Aubameyang, and Emile Smith-Rowe in front of him, right? Not bad, right? Not bad at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of feel like, you know what? Why not?
Great to see Stephen joining us. I know it's late there. We always appreciate the UK viewers, especially in this hour. We will be back on Sunday. Stephen, we've been away for the last 2 Sundays. And everyone else watching on playback or live, we will be back on Sunday. It might be an earlier time than usual. Stay posted for that. Arteta keeps the players he should sell and doesn't play them. So 1 year later, when he wants to sell,
me and Stephen are on the same page. I've been saying it for so long that Arteta, Arsenal devalues their players so much that when we try to sell them, they're worth. Everybody looks at the way that they're being utilized and goes, you know what? I'm not paying top dollar for that, right? I'm not paying top monies for this player because you're not playing him, right? Who's going to buy? Who's going to pay top money for Nketiah? Supposedly they're saying 15 to 20 million for what, right? They know he doesn't show. He doesn't get any good minutes for Arsenal, right? Nelson wasted his time,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Yep.
am I going to get a player who's coming in with a little bit of form? No, because he didn't play much, didn't play at all.
Um, Tony, Davy Crockett says hello as well, Stephen. Tony, we're going to move into areas where we can score goals, and I think we need to boost our goal scoring by about 15 goals. I think Willock could weigh in with at least 5 goals this season. Gary?
Gary's interrupting.
If you didn't change anything, we should get 15 more goals.
Yeah.
Because
And throw Willock in there. Throw
Aubameyang's going to
Willock
give
in there, you're
you
going to get more on top of that, right?
Aubameyang's going to give you 7 to 8 more goals if in fact it was a blip.
Mm-hmm.
Pepe's going to give you probably 5 goals. If we're
We hope.
if we're expecting some kind of improvement from his play,
Yep.
Saka and Milsroof Rowe together, they should give us maybe 5 to 8 more goals between the two of them. Right? Martinelli will come in. Hopefully, he gets more clinical with his play. 4 to 5 more
Gary,
goals
don't
right
get
there.
78 goals on your prediction.
No, I'm just, but that's not out of reality, right? That's not
Yeah.
crazy. That number
No,
isn't
it's-
crazy. The way we should be playing with the players that we have, we should be able to get close to those numbers, right? We have the players to do it, right? We just
I'm going to
wasted
go
them.
more to 20 to 25 goals if you're playing Martinelli more. If you're starting Pepe, instead of bringing Pepe off the bench,
Yeah.
you throw Willock in there.
You're taking.
They're 20 to 25 goals in there.
Yeah, you're taking William off. He doesn't play, right? He might be on the team, but he doesn't play, right?
Just buy him out too while we're at it.
Saka's going to rest to start the season, come in hopefully ready to go, get his shooting boots and go. Martinelli will come back from the Olympics hopefully ready to go. All right.
Yep.
No, Martinelli isn't going to the Olympics, right?
I don't know about that.
Is Martinelli going? I don't know if he's going. But
Martinelli's not going.
yeah, so he's got all this time in the off season to work on his shooting and get that better because he put himself in some really good situations and did not score. Right? If he goes back and look at his tape, he put himself in some good situations and didn't score. He needs to be able to be clinical with those things and work on that. So I expect him to come back better because he had an off season to work on it. Right? Milsroof Rowe, same thing. Get himself healthy, come in strong and ready to go. I don't want to have him getting injured, so he needs to come in really fit and ready to go.
We'll get to those players.
Okay, sorry.
We'll get to those players.
Sorry.
We need to stop conceding stupid goals. We gave away loads of goals last season. We actually did quite well. We did, I think it was 39 or 40 goals. I think if we get it down to 35, it would not be a bad mark there, Tony, in concession of goals, 38 games.
Yeah, those goals should go away since Luis is gone, Zaka's going, Ceballos is gone. He gave up 3 or 4 of them goals himself.
Let's
we should be better. We should gain a couple, especially if we get a different right center back.
Yeah. So Gary, let's clean up midfield a little bit. Partey, we know about Partey, no problems there. Elneny, a good squad player.
Yep.
I'm excited for Lokonga. I think that is a player who has a lot of upside to him, and he's one of those players with potential. I think. Who's that former City defender who is Company? He said some good things about him. Who's coach there now, Gary? Lokonga.
Yeah, no, I think I get him confused a little bit with Basuma.
Anderlecht.
But I like once again I kind of feel like when I watch the tape of all these midfielders, they would benefit from playing next to a Partey for sure. All of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the problem is Partey will have to rest at some point, but I think they'll do wonders playing with him because hopefully he is that player that sits back a little bit and lets them kind of be free a little bit, because you hear. I was listening to on one of the pods. They were talking about a player, and they were saying, you know what, he did really well, and it's because he actually took on more of a defensive role. This player, meanwhile, another player was able to kind of bomb forward and left him alone, and he did pretty well there. So I think if we had that, if Partey is healthier, right, then these players can take those chances, right? If he comes in healthy, I would that would be really, because we know he's pretty good. He's got it good. He's got a skill set. I believe defend. I guess some say box to box, but I think he can sit back and play if he needs to and make that
Partey
run
can
once
do
in
it
a
all.
while, right?
Yeah.
That's what he did at Atletico,
Yeah.
just
So I
playing
mean,
defensively.
yeah. So
I'm just when Gary's chuckling there, I'm thinking he's thinking about when Arteta pushed him back onto the field. Those are the things we don't want to see this season from.
no.
Shouldn't be a rookie. He's not a rookie manager anymore. And
That was, well, all of that whole. You always go back through that whole thing, and it's like that. It started from the time they put him on the team sheet, then just went all downhill from there.
is that what you were chuckling about?
No,
you were thinking about Partey?
No, I wasn't. No, I actually have some really good thoughts about Partey. That one I tried to blank out because it was a bad day.
He's
Bad
chuckling
night.
about his cocoa water.
No, I just no. I'm hoping, like I said, we're talking about leadership, and some people even said, you know what, Partey could be that future captain for us, right? Well, I want to see. I kind of felt like he was being held back, the same way Tierney, I think, was being held back. I think these
You
guys
know who I think is doing that, has been doing that last season.
Yeah, he needs to let some of these
Xhaka.
players that could. Well, I think his presence is what that happens, and I think he's allowed to do it because Arteta has confidence in him, and so he lets that happen, even though he's got other players on the field that, one, their performance, their talent level is a lot taller, and they've done it as well, right? Tierney wasn't just a regular player on the teams that he played on, right? He was leading them. He was captain of them.
Integral part.
Right.
Yeah.
So he comes with, he's got that on his CV that he has captain teams, right? So he knows how to do that. He knows to get players up for the game. What were we lacking? Saka wasn't going to do that, right? Saka wasn't going to come to the defense of his players. He's going to go and comfort the other player, the opponent, right? Right? And he's going to shoo away.
Alioski.
Yeah, I mean, he's shooing away his teammate as opposed to grabbing his teammate
Yeah.
and going. If that was a true captain, he would have grabbed Tierney and said, "Get off the field."
You know what that is?
I don't want you to get in trouble, so get off the field because nothing good's going to come out of this, right? That's what a captain would have done. No, what did he do? He pushed Tierney away.
Yeah. And I don't think that's even an international teammate. I think that's just a player that he knew from.
It doesn't even matter. It's your teammate who's basically trying to get a red card at the end of the game, right? Or get penalized for it later on by the FA, right?
Yep.
No, at that point, the game's over. Get him off the field. You're a leader, supposedly, and you're not doing that. You want to chat with your buddy as opposed to your teammates, losing his mind. That's the leadership that he's lacking. That's when we needed him to show the same leadership he shows in the locker room.
In a very difficult period of the season as well, early December, I believe it was, away to Leeds United. We were lucky to get a point there. They hit the post 4 or 5 times. Tony, you happy enough with midfield then? We put Willock in there, going to supply a few more goals. Partey, El-Neni, and maybe Lokonga.
I probably would add one more because just that was a position we had no depth, no different type of players. You had El-Neni in there, pretty much gives you what Xhaka does, but more solid. You know what you're going to get from him every game, no mistakes. But I think we still need more depth there.
Well, you have Willock and Nelson that could have potentially played in that midfield, right? Right. If you
I don't know. Maybe not. Nelson could play on the wing.
He plays on the wing.
Side.
Sorry. But
Or Guendouzi we could have used last year. We just had no depth there at all.
Yeah.
As Stephen said, I don't want to see the team changing every game. I don't think we're going to be in a situation, Stephen, where we can do that. less games means you're going to have to concentrate your squad. We're going to have to. We haven't done it yet. We're going to have to move some of those more players on than we could bring in. Actually,
I was
we want to fix
laughing at
team.
I was laughing at Steven's comment because I was just like, he said, "Did you see his last one?"
Tony, my knee is killing me.
It's nothing compared to yours, because it's nothing. I'm just kidding.
No, and that's good, Steven. Keep it in perspective. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Take the straws or dice that are Tati uses to pick the team away.
And once again, what was the one thing I wanted from this transfer window?
Oh, you're asking me so many difficult questions tonight.
You wanted a left back.
You wanted outs more
I
than
wanted a
in.
starting 11. I want to have a starting 11 by the end of the transfer window.
There you go. That's exactly what you said. Yeah.
I really give
Give
me a starting 11, and then we'll work on the depth. We have tons of players, but we don't have a starting 11 right now. Right? What does the starting 11 consist of? Right now, a right center back, maybe, a right back, maybe, but definitely a midfielder or two, depending on how you decide you want to line them up.
That's 4, right?
Right? So,
I'd like a striker too.
But you know what? You've got if you can't sell Lacazette and Aubameyang, then you have a striker. You got to sell both of them to make it work. You can sell one, but you still have the other, so you're not going to bring in another player to take their spot. Hey, hello, Ray.
Right, always good to have you involved, and thanks for joining, Ray. We are going through our possible solutions from inside and out. I think my solutions for midfield are Joe Willock coming back to the club and playing a more significant role in midfield, possibly alongside Partey. Also, Ben White, I believe that's almost a done deal. And would like a good right back, but if we don't get to that point, I'm happy enough with, dare I say it, Cedric and Chambers starting. There, I said it. Tony, Emile Smith-Rowe. We had a situation where Aston Villa, he's on vacation right now. He's on holidays right now, and he's going to come back, and everything's all but assured that he's going to sign an improved contract.
I'm not sure because Aston Villa's have a $100 million goose egg. Right now they started at 30, moved it up to 35.
They're sitting on like Grealish.
If they push it up to 60 million, is he going to be with us?
Yeah, so let's play that game. I think a lot of people have been talking about at what price would you sell Emile Smith-Rowe? And my line is probably 65, but I still probably wouldn't want to do it, Gary or Tony.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same price range. I wouldn't sell him either unless if he wants to leave, then sell him.
Gary, at what point do you get a little nervous if it's 65, 70?
No,
Would you keep him at all costs?
I think there is a number that they would sell him for sure.
Everybody's got a number, right?
Everybody's got a number, so I think there'd be a number to sell him. But the fact that we're even contemplating this is because we didn't do our job before this, before the season ended. It shouldn't have been a case of, why
I agree with you, Stephen.
I mean, you're not going to sell him, but you might if they know something about him and they're willing to let him go, then they'll do that, right? So I kind of feel like he should have been signed already. He shouldn't have been on vacation without a contract, right? That part I don't get. You know what?
Yeah.
The season ends. Here's your contract. The numbers match. Yes. Then you need changes. What are those changes? If you can accommodate him, you put him in, sign him. He's off on vacation, right? I don't think the players, walk in the locker room for the last time and then they're on a plane the next day. I don't think it's that quick, especially if you're working on a deal and you want to get it done, right? I mean, I don't know. I just it should have been done already. We shouldn't even talk about it. I mean, this is the future of your team, and
irritating, right?
And you let them walk out the door and go on vacation. right?
It's irritating. You're hearing 25 million bids from Aston Villa. Okay, go away. Not happening.
Well, think
Then they
about
come back
this.
with 30 million.
Tierney's playing in the Europa League, and his deal is completed as soon as as soon as he's done, which means it wasn't just, I don't, I doubt there was no communication happening that didn't get him to the point where here's the number we're going to sign. All right. I mean, how long is Milsworth Roby on vacation? Where'd he go? He takes like a month vacation, right? It's been almost a month now. It seems. I don't know when the season ended, but
Recharging the batteries. Season ended May 23rd for us. It should have ended 5 days later.
May 23rd it ended. So we're talking about over a
3
month,
days later.
and we're still talking about him being on vacation and he can't sign his contract. So there was more than I don't think, unless he went on vacation for 2 months or something crazy like that. I guess they deserve it, but still.
Yeah, and I think fair play to him. He needs to recharge the batteries. Hopefully, come back stronger. Norma said Aston Villa can't sign anybody till they sell people because they need to meet financial fair play regulations. I'm not entirely sure.
I don't. This FFP
I think it's pretty
thing,
much scrapped now, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think so.
yeah.
I wouldn't sell Emil Smith Rowe. I'd back this kid from day one. I'm right there with you, Stephen.
But that's why he
Even
should have
though
been
this
signed
makes-
already.
Right.
That's why he should be signed already. It shouldn't have been a question. Well, the fact that somebody can actually put a bid in means, you know what, he hasn't signed.
There you go. I mean that Ray Anderson's basically setting a level where Aston Villa will not meet, and that's how valuable this player is to us, Emil Smith Rowe. Tony, as you know, we were highlighting Emil Smith Rowe. We were doing pre-game podcasts, Tony, and a lot of the time Emil Smith Rowe would pop up on the left side with Odegaard as the central player because Arteta values his technical security on the ball. With Odegaard moving on now and staying at Real Madrid, there's a real opportunity now for Emil Smith Rowe to set into that number 10 position and become, a firm fixture in the team, Tony.
And you either use him as a lone number 10 or you keep Party back there and play with two box-to-box players, which I would probably do.
A great position, Gary, for Emil Smith Rowe. He's in a commanding position. Young players now. Other teams are looking at your young players and looking at Emil Smith Rowe. Aston Villa have tried to tempt him. I don't know if that's games with the agent trying to get a better contract for Emil Smith Rowe. But we're in a situation where we're going to have to pay some decent money to teenagers. And as the years go on, those wages are going to increase. So how do we manage that over the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, that's the problem, right? We've got a situation where they're not looking up to anybody, right? No midfielder that we bring in is going to command more money than Partey, right? It's that we bring in, right? Mm-hmm. Unless we bring in somebody at his level or better, and we're going to be selling a Partey probably if we did that. So it's pretty set where you're going to, we're not bringing in a striker that's going to command more money than Lacazette and Aubameyang, right? So it's because there's nobody there for Emil Smith Rowe to compete against, right? So that's why you have to pay a little bit extra, right? If you had Erdegaard in there, maybe Erdegaard might have gotten more money than him, but that might have been warranted because of his experience playing healthy, for as long as he has.
Yeah.
So
he's got more experience under his belt.
And this is why you need to do these deals sooner than later, because they drag out, and then agents, what's taking so long, and then they can boost the numbers, and then you see all these reports come out and whatever. So it is it could be a bad situation if Arsenal doesn't know what they're, I don't think Arsenal knows what they're doing. That's the problem. So yeah, he can come in and put any number down. They might have to pay it, because they have what do they have? What else do they have? They're not. Mm-hmm. What player that Madison comes in, he's not. Then all right, you have an answer there, But that's a lot of money for him to come in, and then Emil Smith Rowe can learn a little bit from him. So I don't know. Yeah, I
As
think
Steven said here, Gary, Tierney said he didn't care about the amount of money. He was bothered only about how many years is on it. And can we find 10 more players like
well,
Kim Tierney, please?
yeah, I like that quote, but like once then you hear like it wasn't exactly that. I mean, it wasn't exactly that.
It was
I
paraphrased.
That was it was paraphrased that way. So I do believe that he probably doesn't care as much, but I don't think he's gonna take a discount for sure.
Yeah, and
Right.
he just wants his agent to work for him. Do the best deal he can, but I'm more interested in how many years are going to be on the contract.
Yeah.
And I think Tierney's got to be thinking, he's captain at some point of the club, in the future.
Yeah. He should be. He definitely should be part of whatever captaincy strategy Arteta has for his players. Right. Um, I
He
don't.
kept the 5 captaincy thing,
Well,
so
yeah, no, the 5 thing makes no
Has that
sense.
been kept though, Tony? I haven't heard about that since Emery
If
days.
Lacazette, Xhaka, and Bellerin go, that's
look how
3
many
gone.
captains he had. He had Holding, he had Lacazette, he had Obama.
Yeah, but is that part of the 5 named captains, or is it just like, okay, Holding, you get the honor?
No, it's part of the 5.
Okay.
It's part of the 5. He kept the same philosophy.
How can
For
that be?
whatever
That's more
reason.
than 5, though. That's 6 players.
Ray Anderson said we aren't sure that
Lego Bayagari added one.
possibly the agent holding up the deal with Emil Smith Rowe. Remember what Arteta said about Balogun's agent, Gary?
No, I still believe. Well, that's kind of relationship and the trust that you have with those agents, right? I mean, as soon as the season was over for those teams in the Champions League, we heard contracts finalizing right after that. Right? So you've got a player, he's excelling with you. Why would he want to leave? Well, because maybe you're dragging out the contract negotiations, right? You really want me? So, yes, we want you. Here's the numbers. Let's go. Let's deal. Let's get this thing done so you can go on vacation, enjoy your summer, come back ready to go. All right?
Yep.
That's not what's happening right now. He's away, and we got to wait till he gets back from vacation. I mean,
Tony, solution as number 10 is from the inside would be Emil Smith Rowe. Do you think we need another 8 or another 10 to, be a backup to Emil Smith Rowe or provide competition or both?
I think we more need probably 2 8s. I really don't think we need a attacking midfielder with Willock. It'd be nice. Be kind of a nice bonus to have one, but I don't think it's really that big of a need.
As Ray said, Tony, that's not true. If Alba isn't there, Laka gets it. If Laka is there, Bellerin gets it, and so on. So it's
still 5.
I mean, does somebody have to wear the captain's band?
Yeah, somebody has to.
Oh, is that actually a rule?
It's a thing.
It's a thing? Why?
I don't know. I didn't go into the FA regulations.
Well, no. I mean, I'm just asking. Like, is it actually required that you have a captain?
Somebody has to be there for the coin toss and all that good stuff.
Doesn't have to be the captain.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a representative, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
The
not
captain
a captain.
is a representative.
Yeah, but a representative doesn't have to be a captain.
The captain is the representative.
So you're saying
You're not winning here.
You're saying it has to be a captain that's there for the coin toss. It's written in the FA rules.
I'll check it out. This will be a good one to check out. I would say the captain is a representative of the team, wouldn't you, Tony?
That's what I said that, but I said it doesn't have to be a representative of the team. Could be anybody. You've got whatever.
You always see the captains doing it, so
it's probably a regulation where the captain has to be there for the coin toss.
Just like good old American football, Gary. The captains are out there.
Gary, wingers, we're pretty well stocked in wingers. Saka now can solely be in the attacking half of the field.
And
Now
then
we
Doozy
probably-
out of the midfield.
Oh yeah, Guendouzi, Torreira. Should we talk about them? We'll talk about the loanees at the end. How about that?
Okay.
My prerogative, Gary.
I don't know. We're going to talk about him anyway, so it
Yep.
doesn't matter.
Wingers, we're pretty well set. Pepe was on fire for me last few games of the season.
Especially on the left wing.
hmm The goals against Crystal Palace and Brighton really demonstrated, Tony, that he's got some class, and he demonstrated that.
Yeah, when he finally got a run of games, surprise, look what happened. He went out there, scored, and was assistant. Again, he'd be on form, and Arteta would bench him. It just makes no sense at all. I don't know. He goes back to always referring to what he sees in training. I don't care what Pepe's doing in training. If he goes out on the pitch and performs, that's all that matters to me. That's all that should matter to Arteta. I don't get why Pepe didn't start 30-plus games for us last season. I think if he does, he gets around 15 goals and 10
Well,
plus assists.
we do know why. It's a player with a W in his name, you know. We'll get to him. He apparently has moved to Inter Miami,
No, they dropped out. They don't want him anymore.
broken down. Sons of Arteta are sticking around at the club.
Yes.
Gary, we'll unfortunately get to the Sons of Arteta toward the end.
Alonso Scardy Belacity is following Karen Gibbs there.
Alonso will be joining us. He did say late, but I didn't think it would be this late at this point in time. Gary, Pepe has been really, really good. Starting to justify the 72 million. Shouldn't be a thing, but a lot of fans look at the value of the player and want that justified.
No, yeah, definitely. Well, okay. I did check it out. It does say the only official responsibility of a captain is to participate in the coin toss prior to kickoff. So that's what
You mean I'm right?
That's what Wikipedia said. I was asking because you didn't seem confident to me. You felt like you were like, maybe. But that's the only official job of the captain is to be there for the coin toss.
Is the show host supposed to know every
Not
FA
everything,
bylaw?
Tony.
Wait,
I will say right now, I do not know everything. People.
I was asking if you should know every bylaw. I don't think you should.
No, I shouldn't. I don't think
yeah,
it's fair
that an
to anyone
one
to know
is
everything.
yeah, that one is. I know. I said I had to look at it because I just wanted to know.
I'm a
but-
money man. Gary's the FA.
No, no. But what I was
man.
gonna say, what I was gonna say.
We got
is
your
so-
new job, Gary.
I was gonna say as for Partey, right? He lost out because he only got half. He only got half the games.
Yep.
Right. Him and Williams kind of split the number
Almost
of games
even.
played. Same number of games played. So yeah. So I think that's where it wasn't the same positions all the time, but definitely he should have got more games. So I expect to see him improve. I don't right now. 72 million that's not on Pepe.
No.
That isn't on Pepe.
And
It's just
it
it's
shouldn't-
Arsenal doing bad business, So, but I expect him to improve it once again, right?
Yep.
I think.
Ooh, go up another level, or
He
maintain what he did against
No,
Palace.
he has.
and
No, he
Brighton.
has. He has to do. He has to. His stats need to be much, improved from last season, right?
Hmm.
If
If he scores 2 goals a game, which I think he scored 2 goals against Palace and 2 goals against Brighton. That's really good.
yeah. No,
Steven said, I like Pepe and want him playing every game possible. Arteta needs to play him and play him to get the best out of him. He is a goal threat. And I think, Gary, we have to be in a situation where the squad will be trimmed down, but Arteta's got to fight his tendencies to switch things up and start playing. It's going to be only 7 days between games now. We're not going to have games every 3 days.
Yeah. So everybody should be rested and ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Right, unless you have injuries or you have cup games coming up and you want to change things around, there's no reason why your starting 11 can't played multiple games in a row, right?
Tony,
This switching every 37 times in a season, the lineup
what
that
happened?
has it can't happen. If it
Yeah.
happens, then yeah, it will just waste the whole point of going to Europe is so you can build up your squad and get things better. You can't do that if you're switching your team
Mhm.
around like that consistently. So I don't. So yeah,
And
so it should be.
Mikel Arteta, if you're watching, we will hold you accountable on pre-game shows, right, Gary?
Not most definitely. I mean, we should see a similar set of players playing in every
With
game,
very little rotation.
right? There should be like 9 players that we expect to see all
Yep,
the time,
yep,
right?
yep.
And maybe we
Tony,
switch them out because we've got depth, and we've got depth in other positions. Like Martinelli could come in and do a job. Um, Lacazette and Aubameyang probably can do a job, so you may switch that around a little bit, right? Just to
yep.
give some players a little bit of a rest there. Uh, so, and that's why you might need somebody to back up a Smith Rowe or play in front of him if that's where your money goes, right? So
Tony, you want to jump in with something?
Yeah, as I say, in late December, early January, we saw and figured out that Smith Rowe as a number 10 worked and Pepe on the left worked better. It unlocked the team.
And
But for
Saka.
whatever reason, Arteta kept going away from it. We need to see a solid lineup. Like Gary said, we need to see the same 9 players pretty much every match, especially without Europe and pretty much meaningless League Cups and the FA Cup.
Tony, we have really a great potential if we do that to pick up at least 2 points per game, we get 2 points per game for 38 games. That's going to put us right in the European battle. And Emil Smith Rowe and Saka playing together. If we play the same team with that rest that Gary's talking about, am I crazy to think that we could be right up there all through the season?
We should be. But we never know with Arteta. We don't know if he's a go with the same players. If he's a sit there and draw straws, roll dice, spin the wheel of in the dressing room, whatever he does to select the team.
Get some
we need to see
consistency.
consistency.
Get some consistency with the team, and winning brings confidence. I'm with Ray Anderson as well. I still want to progress as far as possible in the cups. I do think, though, Ray, Arteta's got no choice but to concentrate on the league itself, and we're going to see. Yeah, but that's what's going to happen, Gary. Right?
no, you cannot do that, Ray. You cannot do that. We can't do that because that's not what you want. You don't want a team that just focuses on the league. You don't want that. That's not what you want. Because whenever we talk about what do we want a European spot, and the only way you can get a European spot is if you know how to play outside of the league, the domestic league that you play in. So you need to be able to play in these cup games with the one-off games. So that mentality still needs to be there on top of the grind of playing in the league. So
Okay.
no, that's not
Okay.
what you want because you want your team to be able to
I'll
play
buy that.
right. So you
I
want
will buy that.
yeah. So whenever I hear that, you know what? No, because you turn that off, you can't bring it back. We turned it off against Villarreal and see what happens. You come back in and no, you got to play every match to win it, right? You got to play to win every match. You put your best players out there, right? You put a plan together with the players that you have that gets them to be able to succeed no matter who you put out there. So if he pulls and if he goes to his bench and pulls players out, you can't bring other players in and then say do what Partey does. No. We're going to take Saka out and rest him. Do what Saka does. No, that makes no sense, right? So you need to be able to. Your squad needs to be able to handle certain situations. Even when City goes to their bench, they're not expecting the exact same output from them, but they're expecting them to perform within that position, and they're going to give something. They're not going to. It's not going to look different, but they're not going to dip so much that you're like, you know what? Oh no, De Bruyne is not in there, so they're not going to be able to win any matches. I mean, look at Liverpool, right? Look at Liverpool. They struggled on that back line, but they found a way with the players that they brought in, right? They still finished above a lot of teams. Missing their best player
Yeah, they had
for the
this
whole season.
similar. They had a
So,
similar surge to us.
so
at the
I'm
end of
saying
the
that this is a whole. This is not only the starting 11, right? It's the bench as well, but this is also being able to play in all those tournaments that we talk about. There's no if we're gonna just work on it domestically, there's no reason why we even have to. Why even think about Europa League, right? That's not what you want because we want Europa League, so we want those type of tournament matches.
We
right?
we want to do what West Ham did last season, and that's what we should have been. We talked about West Ham famously struggling. We're the ones who struggled last season. Tony,
Yeah, I kind of disagree with Gary there. I agree with the Wenger model on the League Cup. You just go out and play the young players. Either you'd have to loan out all the young players, or you have to give them some platform to play and show up for the team. And to me, that's the League Cup. It gives them a path into the first team squad. If not,
Yeah.
they're off playing for somebody else.
let me take that and ask you, Gary. Would you put Tavares in to save Kieran Tierney?
Well, no. I never said that we're going to play our starters every match. That's not what I said.
Sounded like
Because
it.
when Ray says we're going to take games off and play them in the cup, to me that's like, you know what, we're not going to take this thing seriously.
Talk about rotation.
That's what I'm thinking when I hear that, and that's what I believe happens. I believe they take their foot off the gas, right? Their bench that usually would come in and
No,
play.
I'm talking about rotation.
Well,
Bringing a
rotation is
player in who
expected
wants
in the
to
cup
compete for
games,
a
right?
place.
Yeah, I would expect hopefully Tavares to play left back in some of those early games when we're expecting to be able to
The League
beat
Cup.
some of these teams that are in the lower divisions, right? That's
Yes.
when we want him to come in and play, right? Martinelli, if he doesn't get much playing time, would be starting in those, no doubt about it, right? If you're, Partey would have to probably sit out some of those games. So yeah, I get that. But what I'm saying is, my thing is more of the mentality that we go into these
Yeah.
games not
Yeah.
not concerned about winning or not concerned about losing, whichever way you want to look at it. But we should be trying to win every match when we go in there, and those players they should understand their roles when they come in there. So it shouldn't be a dip. So no, I wasn't thinking of playing all the players every game.
That's what it sounded like.
It's
No,
funny. It's funny because
it's more about mentality. It's more about mentality of the team, because I felt like no matter who we put in for some of these games, the mentality was, oh, we're just taking a drop, we're just dropping off. The mentality and the effort that the players put out there, because it's a nothing game.
it's funny with Gary and myself. It always seems like we're at odds, but we're actually thinking the same way, but we just verbalize it in different ways.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah. Well, I want Arsenal to win.
I want Arsenal to win every game
You want your uncle to win. That's the difference.
Yes, I want Uncle Mikel to win, but also I think we're going to need to rotate 3 or 4 of those positions.
No,
in those
definitely.
cup games. You know what I mean?
Tierney cannot play a lot of cup games if we don't need it, or even some of the Premier League games when we're playing. We play Brentford to start this season, and we blow them out. He's not playing that game, right? He's not playing that turnaround game against Brentford, right?
Because
we come out and we play them
next
pretty
Saturday
tough.
we got Chelsea.
Yeah, so he needs to come out because it's the start of the season if he's going to play, right? So he needs to be able to put those 3 games. I think it's 3 games, right? Those first 2 games are pretty tough, if I recall.
It's Brentford, and then it's Chelsea at home and City away.
Yeah, so 3 games. This is whenever we talked about this, we looked at the season. We looked at the first 3 games of the season last time, and we said, you know what? We need to be ready to play Liverpool. I think it was the 3rd game of the season, right? That's what we needed.
Last season, yeah.
Right? So we need to come in and get something out of those first 2 games, or in this case, 1 game, so that we play the tough games. The team looks good.
Let's look at the league. We remember the league program a little bit, Gary. So, yeah, we got to play Brentford, we got to play Chelsea, and then City. I think it's very similar to Emery's first season. He's going to have that tough. We're going to have that tough beginning, but then you really need to pick up points and big points in those 7 games up till the 10th game. And I think a lot of people, myself included, are going to make their decisions on Arteta based on those 10 games.
Yeah, and you know what? He's going to have to come out and play against Chelsea and City with a
Yeah.
really good plan, right? Where even if it doesn't pan out, we can see, how this team's going to play. Maybe they're rusty because it's something new. Some new players are coming in and playing, but we can't be sitting back going, you know what, you guys have this. We're going to sit back and just watch you play and let you play, absorb all this punishment, and then try to not to play our game. At some point, we have to play our game against these teams.
Mhm.
We have to be
Not
solid.
damage limitation.
No, we
We
need
saw
to come
that
out.
last
I
season.
mean, if we were to come out and played 3 and lost 3-0, but it was our game style, and they got lucky, that might be a positive, right? But if we come out and lose 3-0 like we've done in the past, where it's we're not even threatening them at all, that's not good. We need to get better at playing these big teams.
Mhm. Stephen, Arsenal said should be doing better. We are underperforming. I still think with the squad, someone like Rafa could get top 4. Our team is not bad. I agree with you. What we need is Arteta to maybe get closer to Rafa standards in terms of what he can do. Some Gunners believe he can't get there. I believe he will get there eventually. Winning mentality is needed in this squad. Exactly right. Um, the new Palace manager would give us that mentality. We're going to spend a few minutes toward the end, talking about the new managers in the league, Tony. So we'll definitely mention Selhurst Park. How many teams has he been fired from? We're going to get to Vieira, Ray, in a second. Brownie's still with us. Gary seems suicidal because Arsenal are now skint FC. I think Gary is he's just ready to jump into the next season.
What does he mean? Why am I? What did I do? Did you see it? Did you see what
You're
Brownie
just,
sees?
I think you're just chill, Gary, and he takes it as you being downbeat about Arsenal. I think you're just being chill, Gary.
Why?
I think it's fatigue from all his other podcasts.
Are you fatigued, Gary?
I am not fatigued. I don't do that many podcasts.
Yeah. So I think we need to hit about. I'm setting the bar at about 20 points out of the first 30, Tony. First 10 games, we need to get 20 points to stay on course.
Yeah, I think people will look at our schedule, say it's tough. I don't think it's really that tough considering you look at City's schedule, you look at Chelsea's schedule, who they're playing, plus they'll be playing in Europe. Plus, they got a lot more players playing internationally, so those guys will be coming back late. So it'd be a perfect time for us to go out, start the league strong, be in a pole position, try to be up in the top 4 from start to finish.
So, Tony, I'm thinking 6 wins, 2 draws out of the first 10 games.
Yeah, it should be, but
20 points. That's what we've got to be. I mean, if Arteta is going to survive, and those 10 games, Gary, will take us to the end of October.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at those games right now, and I mean, some of them are like, oof. I mean, like you said, we played Chelsea in the second game, City in the third game, and then we have Norwich and Burnley, and then Spurs, right? The home game, home match against Spurs. That should be a win for us. I don't care. Brighton win, Crystal Palace win. Villa is improving, right?
Yep.
Leicester City, they're always a tough one for us, and that's it. Those are the so there's like 5 games, right? So there's 15 points definitely we probably should get, and then we need to get another 5 points from those other 5 games, right?
Doable.
If we can hit that 20 mark, so
it's got to be doable. I mean, we cannot slow up, Gary, like we did last season.
Yeah, what signings would I get excited about? Well, if I'm talking about starters, right? I want starters for those are the ones that I'm going to get excited about because I feel like we have players now that are similar to some of the players we're talking about getting in terms of they have certain things that are good about certain things they need to work on. So for me, starters would have been a partner for. I mean, I think Pereira would have been nice
Partey.
to get, right? Basuma
Yeah.
would have been nice for me to get it. Eze would have been nice for us to
I
get.
mean, could
I
still
feel
happen.
I feel I would if Sa didn't get hurt, I think he would have been gone by somebody would have been looking to get him. But no, I think Basuma would probably be somebody I would be happy to get because I feel like he could start for us, no problem, right? No problem, he can start for
Yeah.
us.
Yep.
A right back, I don't think there's one out there. Center back, if we're still looking for a right center back, if Ben White is that guy that they're going to go with, then I'll be happy with that. I mean, I
I
think
mean,
it's a lot. I think it's a lot of money to spend on him, but it fills the needs, right? As long as a lot of the players that we're bringing in, they're filling needs that either depth wise, but I need to know we have starters coming in from some of these deals. Ben White should be a starter.
yeah.
I would think Basuma would be a starter if he came
Ben
into
Ben
us.
White. Ben White, you would get excited about. Basuma, you would get excited about. Maybe a Madison if we were to do that.
Yeah, I mean, but those Ben White and Madison seems like not going to happen. Not both of them aren't going to happen. I can't see us spending over 100 million on two players,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. True.
100 million on two players. I just don't.
True.
I can't. I don't think we're going to do
Right.
that.
Depends how
And-
big that kitty is, Gary.
Yeah,
And the right back position is just not going to excite you unless you would get somebody.
well, who is a right back? Who would be an available right back out there?
I mean, I can only think of Max Aarons, someone.
Yeah, but he's in
He
the same
always
boat
looks
as a
like
Ben
crap
White,
against
right?
us
But
for
he's
whatever reason.
but he's in the same boat as a Ben
Yeah,
White, but
It
probably
wouldn't
even worse.
be. It wouldn't
But he's worse.
be. Whoa! It wouldn't be like Pepe. Like that Saturday morning, we all learned about Pepe. I was definitely pumped about that.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's why it would have been nice to have gotten Matt Aarons last year,
This is
Right.
very true.
right?
We always
Right.
seem to struggle October, November.
Or Nathan Aki, or there are lots of relegation players we should have went after last year.
Has
Yeah.
to be something to do with Europe. Had to.
Bad.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have to deal with that anymore, right? So,
Nope. Hey,
No.
let's.
but you know what? It's that. But once again, the way we should have played, like, I mean, this is where I think maybe this is what happened, right? When we were playing those Europa League games, I think we were playing a lot of the starters already, right? I think Willian played, Aubameyang played because he hadn't been scoring. I think he needed to take a break at that point just to get his head right and then come back in. I don't think playing in those matches helped him out at all, right? He needed to he needed to get away from the game a little more, come back, kind of thing. You let the youth get the games that they got because we got something out of that, right? And Mills
We're gonna- We're gonna skip Saka because there's no problem with Saka. He's a generational talent. He's one of the first names on the team sheet on the pitch. Let's go to Aubameyang and Lacazette. You just touched on them, Gary. Lacazette, if he can repeat the season he had last season, that would be completely adequate for me. But Aubameyang is the one we're missing 10 goals from last season.
Yep. No, they're showing all these videos of him working out in Greece and stuff, right?
Yep.
So if he comes in with that same kind of energy,
Doing backflips into the pool. I saw that one.
we want to see more backflips of him after he scores, right?
Yes.
When did we didn't even, I don't even know if he scored, did he even do that? The season before when he scored, he's pulling out masks, he's doing flips. This past season, it just wasn't the same. And like I said, I'm hoping that's just a blip. So we need to get that Aubameyang. They need to put him in situations where he's going to score, right?
It's hard to know what's going on in a player's life or what's going on
Yeah.
from season to season. We all have our own things going on. Saliba had issues last season. Maybe Aubameyang had some similar issues. Tony, what's your feeling on Aubameyang? And of course, we're going to talk about Lacazette.
For me, like I said, I wanted to extend him last year. The team does better when he plays on the left, but Pepe, we look better when Pepe plays on the left. I don't think he's really a out and out striker. I don't think you play him centrally. Klopp didn't play him centrally as last year at Dortmund. To me, you look for a way to get him out of the club.
Interesting. You just sparked me into asking a question. Did he suffer, Tony, because he was playing through the middle? Do you think that's the reason why he didn't get to close to 20 goals last season?
And I think we go back to shoehorning. He got shoehorned into that position. I don't think that's his best position. Arteta seemed to keep going with that, and it just didn't work.
As Ray said, do you think he suffered from not having crowds there as well? We're going to have crowds back next season as well.
Well, Arteta said the whole team suffered from it. We'll find out real quickly.
Yeah. Gary, we've all suffered the last year through COVID, and it's presented numerous challenges at home and at work. Had to have impacted footballers as well and the fans. It's been definitely a unique situation.
Yeah, you know what? To me, I think it's partly I get it, but I don't. I feel like, you know what? You have to deal with the situations in front of you, right? If you're getting opportunities in a game, and you're used to getting maybe 10 opportunities, but you only get 5, you have to change with what's going on around you, right? And when you do get those 5 chances, you need to be clinical with them, as opposed to, I'll get another one, because you never know when it's going to come, that kind of thing. So I kind of feel like he had more than enough time to realize how these games are going to go, and like you said, maybe other things happen. So
Tony's rivaling Alonso's product placement with the competitor.
Get healthy, kids. Get healthy, kids.
He's rivaling the Pepsi product placement from
get healthy,
Alonso.
kids.
We're on a Coca-Cola sponsorship since I can't get a beer one.
No, but what I hear that. I think that's an excuse. I mean, I feel like that's an excuse. So when if the crowds come in and we're playing Brentford, Chelsea, and City, and he doesn't score, is that because the crowds weren't loud enough? Because they didn't have a full stadium? He needs to come out and play, and all the other players, hey, look at that.
Miles.
Hey, Miles from the London Insomnia Group. I hope we keep I hope we don't put you to sleep, but I hope you get some sleep. You know what I mean?
No, I mean we're here for the insomniacs from the UK right now on Thursday night. And we
give them a place to go.
Quality content here, so we will say football. We will say all the right things.
Yeah. If Aubameyang gets crowds and he doesn't perform, then he's lying. Don't lie to me. Just come out and score. That's all.
Miles, thanks for joining as well. I think you're a new face, so hey, if you want to hit the sub, we'd appreciate it as well. The sub button. We're going through solutions from the inside and outside, hoping to get some more goals. A solution from the inside, Tony, would be Balogun. Lacazette, and you can speak a little bit about Lacazette. I know you're a proponent of the player.
Yeah, for me on Lacazette, he was scoring when he was playing. Arteta kept benching him. He'd come back, start scoring again.
You got Arteta.
Arteta kept benching him and come back and keep scoring. I think he would have had, like I said, I think he would have had 20-plus goals last season if Arteta played him 30-plus games, but he didn't. Me, I would just let Lacazette see out his contract. I'd sell Nelson and Kedia and get Edouard since Leicester's dropped out of getting him. I'd definitely go pick him up for £15 million, which they say he's available for. Then I'd look for a replacement long-term for Uba and Lacazette if we can find a way to get rid of Uba this summer.
Gary,
And
a
for
little bit-
me, and you're talking about Balogun, to me, I think Martinelli's another choice. I don't think he has to be there on the left. I think he's kind of like Sanchez. You can play him out left or play him centrally or just kind of get him swinging inside and he's a score for you.
Yeah, Gary, it's possible I was forgetting about Martinelli. You know, he's that kind of player. He's between winger and striker. You almost do forget about him at
Well,
times.
that's why I kind of feel like we've got put in a way where they plan to play him, right? If he's playing as a wing, you can bring him in and rest, either a Pepe or a Saka, right? If you're going to play him at wing, and then you have what I think is a nice three player rotation there, pretty strong, right? Who is the fourth winger that we have? I don't want to put.
You're looking at Willian. You're looking at Nelson. Then
Oh, come on.
Bye-bye.
No,
Adios.
Ray. No, Ray. Why did you? No.
Just say adios.
Maybe if William plays one out of every 10 games, maybe we'll get something good out of him.
hey, Alonso.
Hey there, Alonso. Yeah, but William can't be part of that rotation. So I'd rather have Nelson. Yeah, I'd rather have Nelson. I'd rather have Nelson. He's gonna have to go.
We have this is the podcast of the rival brands here. Pepsi versus Coca-Cola.
I wish I had my RC soda or something, because you can't. I got Pepsi over here. I got Coke up there. I need to get RC soda or whatever, or store brand or something ridiculous, so I can compete with you guys.
Gary, you're more of a mellow yellow man.
I got.
There we go.
No, but isn't Mellow Yellow owned by Coca-Cola? So it's so it's not really an option for me. I need
owned by Dr. Pepper. So.
And Dr. Pepper's owned by who? Nobody, right?
No, it's owned by its own subsidiary, right?
There you go. So Dr. Pepper, I bring a Dr. Pepper out. You guys.
All right.
Yeah.
Listen.
What I was gonna say though, I Martinelli is just part of that rotation that we can switch around and rest. If Saka isn't coming all the way back, Pepe's ready to go. He should play, right? It'd be nice to say, you know what, Saka, you rest. Martinelli comes in and plays, and we go with that as our wings, maybe,
Okay, Miles, we were talking about this earlier. Ben White, I think it's a good acquisition, but we're drawing the line at 50 million. Brighton are acting the maggot, as we say in Ireland. Asking for more money, got to draw the line at 50 million. And I don't believe that Everton are going to steal him from us. I think he's intent on coming to Arsenal. And Manchester City have held talks with his people, and Everton are offering the full price. We would be kind of disappointed if this deal was pulled out from underneath us at this point in time.
Yeah, City, do they really need
Yeah,
him?
I think it's more Everton, but it seems suspicious because Rafa has just been installed as manager of Everton,
No, I get that. I find it City being part of that seems a little strange to me, because I'm like,
I think
is that really where they needed to put some of their monies, right?
No, they're going for Grealish, they're going for Kane, Pepe, Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe, Martinelli, Balogun, Alba, and Laka, if everyone is still there. So, Alonso, I don't know if you were watching a little bit before he came on, or we're just talking about solutions from the inside and out. We've got that Tavares. He's going to be covered for Tierney. It's going to be good. Ben White coming in as well. We got the whole Holding, Saliba, Ben White, and then the right back position. In midfield, I believe Willock should be given. We all actually believe Willock should be given the opportunity to start in midfield alongside Partey. And we've been just talking about the forwards, really. So, what are your thoughts on the whole team? What solutions would you have from the inside? Who would you bring in quickly?
Well, I would bring in Basuma, I'll bring in I would resign Emile Smith-Rowe as soon as I could. I don't know if you guys heard anything about that or not. right.
He's on holiday still. They're going to get the deal
Okay.
done when he comes back.
Yeah. So I think that's that'd be most
Gary doesn't
important.
hand out holidays. If he's the boss, Gary doesn't give
No, he
holidays
doesn't leave. He doesn't leave London. He doesn't
without
leave
signing.
without signing. That thing's done. Right?
Okay.
Why are we dilly dallying
You
with
bring
this
him a
thing?
fax machine wherever he's at.
No, exactly. Here, you go on vacation, but here's your fax machine. I'll be sending you some paperwork. You send it back. Then we move on. And when somebody calls up and says, "Do we want to talk about most referral?" No.
So I'm curious to know. So what's the deal with Lacazette? Is he staying or is he going or it has his
No
the
news yet on Lacazette, but
I
Miles
think we're
is
just
saying
waiting to see if we get any last minute offers
Mi-
from him.
Miles is saying the story with City, Everton, and Ben White looks pretty solid, but I still feel confident, Miles, that Ben White is committed to coming to Arsenal. He's going to play. That would be something that's in the player's mind as well. You know,
so what's the deal with the kid from Intellect? Is he still going to come or is he just in talks still or
Lakonga
the Congo? Yeah.
yeah, Lakonga is going to get done, I believe, as well. So
So is there a reason why we should still talk about was someone coming or is that just not a deal? Is that even going to happen?
my feeling with and Tony, Gary, jump in. My feeling on Basuma has gone very quiet, and I think maybe they're going to go with Willock, maybe a Neves and Lakonga.
Okay.
What do you
I
guys
think
think?
Neves seems like a pretty solid link still.
Yeah, I think we need. I mean, I always thought we needed to get 2 to 3 players in the midfield, anyways, for depth reasons. So be that if it is Willock, or is it Willock? Is that what we're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Willock would be
Yeah.
playing there. But we need 3 new players that didn't really at the end of the season weren't playing there. How they get there, I don't care. But I think we need 3, maybe 2.
Yeah.
We bring in, and one
And
we bring
what
in.
Ray is saying here, Willock is more attack minded, so he's not going to think defensively. He's going to think about his opportunity to get into the box and be that last player, trailing into the box to finish off moves.
No. I guess the one thing along those lines is when we were watching the game, when we kept saying Partey's back there by himself. What was the thinking behind that? Was that because he had to do everything, defend and move the ball up the field, or was that because he had to defend all the time and didn't move up the field? You know what I mean? What? Because
Yeah.
we heard that many times,
Yeah.
and for me, it was because he didn't have anybody who could do anything in the midfield, right?
And he had to stay at home, as it were.
Yeah. So if you have somebody that can move the ball up the field, then he gets to rest a little bit, right? And he can sit back there, and when he does move forward, good things are going to happen. So if Lakonga's coming in, then we know we've got a player that's going to build behind, build up, and get better with
Could be.
Partey.
I mean, and Lakonga could be, depth for Partey. Play some of those cup games. When you rest Partey, you rest Tierney.
Yeah,
There's
but
a
we
rotation right there.
definitely need a starter in that midfield. So,
Yeah.
like I said, my main goal from this whole thing is we turn around and we look at we're going into the Brentford game, and the only reason
Pre-season.
we're going into the Brentford game, and the only reason why certain player isn't playing is because they were in the Olympics. That's it, or they're injured, right? So, like Gabriel probably might not play that first game, maybe, right? Because he was in the Olympics. Otherwise, we should know our 11 at that point based on what we've seen, from the preseason and stuff like that, and Arteta, and then we should see that same 11 play the next 2 games.
Yep. Miles, I hope you don't unsubscribe, but we have been kind of tough on Bellerin.
I
Question:
think all 4 of us would sell him.
Do you think Bellerin gets a rough deal? I still think he's one of the better right backs in the league. Has become a bit of a scapegoat. Not sure why though. I think that he's not a good defender. I think he tries to be good going forward. I think he's not the player he was even 3 seasons ago.
I mean, I think that Villa game sticks out in a lot of people's minds as to why why he isn't the player that we need back there. I mean, it just looked really bad on him, right? Also, I don't. He does. He comes forward and doesn't, for me, provide anything. And then he always has to. And then he kind of left. He leaves. He was leaving. Is it holding back there? I mean, I always go back to the
Spurs game.
to the Spurs game where he was up. He was so deep. The ball was lost. Right, it wasn't his fault. The ball was lost the way it was. But he's nowhere to be found in terms of tracking back. And I'm like, you know what? I don't mind if you come up like that. But if the team it doesn't seem. I don't know if the team is covering for him or not. In terms of they're supposed to cover for him, but he's not even tracking back anyway. But he's not even tracking back with any kind of urgency. Like I need to get back there and help my team. He's playing center. He's playing right back. I mean, I don't know what part of his responsibility has got to be. He's got to get back, right?
I think we've come to a point, though, Alonso, I'll go to you. I think we've come to a point where Bellerin needs a fresh challenge as well. As much as the club needs to move forward, Bellerin does need another challenge as well.
Yeah, and it's a shame because I think where Bellerin lost where he could have peaked at were his injuries, and I think it kind of hurt his development as far as being better and defending quicker going back. I'm sure you guys remember this, but when he saved that goal against Chelsea, he went all the way back to defend that goal and just to kick it off he made a great clearance, right, going back. But you haven't seen that kind of defending in a long time from Bellerin. And as a fan, prior to last year, you wanted to root for Bellerin because he was a youngster growing up. We talk about a potential captain at one point. So to see him fall from grace like he has is kind of sad, actually. It's kind of sad and kind of discouraging as a fan because you want to root for a guy like Bellerin because he's been with Arsenal for a long time, and to see all fall away like that is kind of tragic in a way.
Yeah, Tony. I mean, Gary, as Alonso said, and you can add to this as well, your own point. As Alonso said, Bellerin has been part of the fabric of the club. He actually speaks like he's a London boy as well, and he's been a great servant to the club, but. It is time to move on, I think, for him as much as the club as well.
Yeah, I think they're asking him to do things he can't do.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, it's like some of the other players, they're just asking them to do things they cannot do. And not that we have players that can do it better or anything like that. It's just they're asking them to do something. And, I think also if we need to, redo, the squad needs to be rebuilt. And to me, some of those players that have been here for a while probably need to go because they're not part of what I believe is the future for Arteta. Anyways, he might have confidence in them, but they can't do what he wants. I did check out. Miles was talking about the Ben White and the City relation, the links, and they are saying Laporte is being looked at by other teams because he hasn't been playing much for City. Which I find interesting because if Laporte is leaving because he's not getting enough playing time, and what Stones and Ruben Diaz are there, Ben White's he's not a starter for them, is he?
No, he wouldn't be.
So he's going to leave a starting position to go sit behind Ruben Diaz and Stones, right? I believe, right? That's the players that would be in front of him.
I mean,
that doesn't make any sense to me, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of money if they can afford it to have him sit on the bench. Go right ahead, or he's gonna knock out one of your players that have done it for you for a while. So then they're kind of wasting money if you're doing that. I think you want to. I mean, he's gonna. Yeah.
What I love about what we're doing is we are targeting hungry players who see Arsenal. Listen. We know we're a mid-table club. We finished 8th place. We know our level. We should know our level, as some Arsenal fans feel privileged. We can't feel privileged when we're 8th and we're out of Europe. So we needed to target players who would feel like Arsenal is a step forward. Ben White, Nuno Tavares, these are players. Lokonga, these are players who would see Arsenal as a stepping stone, at least, if not a team that they could come and make good again.
Yeah. No, I was just seeing if you see Ray's point there
Yeah.
about Aubameyang. I'm sorry,
Some persons have said that
Bellerin.
Arteta
Yeah.
told him to play inverted right back, but Chambers and Cedric doesn't play inverted. That's why those two work better with Pepe than Bellerin. Yeah. Maybe that's just the way he plays as well, the Bellerin.
But that doesn't
drifts
help.
inside.
What benefit does Arsenal get from that when you look at the game and you see how he plays? It doesn't help the right wing, does it?
I think it crowds things a lot.
It,
for
it
Pepe.
doesn't help the right wing. So then it's not. He doesn't score.
Are they more hungry than Alonso? No.
No, yeah, you know what I mean. Like it doesn't help. It doesn't help Pepe, and I'd rather have Pepe. It's one of those things, right? Who do I want? I want Pepe. I don't want
Yeah.
Bellerin, right? In terms of who do I want to succeed going forward. So I should be doing whatever I can to get Pepe involved in the game.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think lately we've been doing that in the last 5 games of the last season. What's for dinner, Alonso?
Ramen soup and chicken.
What kind of chicken?
Ramen soup and chicken.
Ramen soup and chicken. All right.
All right.
Ray Anderson. Depending on how the players perform in preseason, it could be the starting 11 for the first few matches.
It has to be. It has to. We cannot do that. No, you cannot go through a whole preseason and not know your starting 11 for the first 3 matches.
Yeah.
We can't. We're not that established that we can go to our bench and say, you know what, in the second game against Chelsea, at home that's the first game at home. Yeah, our first home match.
Chelsea at home.
Chelsea at home. We're going to bring in we're going to switch up the 11 who hadn't played and try to get something out of this game. When we're bringing a lot of new players, regardless of whether they're Arsenal players or that were out on loan or what, you can't do that. We've got to have a. I don't know much about. I guess I don't know a lot about football, but I do know about continuity. And you got to go through this preseason ready to play those first 3 matches.
Yep. We got to be ready to hit the ground running because Arteta's job depends upon us hitting the ground running those first 10 games. Tony, let's round it out. We've gone through basically the whole team from goalkeeper to striker.
Can I not talk about Bellerin?
Huh?
No, you're not allowed.
No, we moved on. Yeah, you can incorporate Bellerin if you want, but also talk about the loans. Is there any loan players out there that you want to have a solution from the inside?
I would have gave Guendouzi a chance last year. We needed a depth in midfield. Other than that, really, I can't think of any of the loanees that I would be integrating into a first team.
Yeah.
Torreira would be bye-bye. Kolasinac would be bye-bye. But to me, I think we screwed up by not selling Bellerin 5 or 6 years ago when Barcelona were offering $50 million for him. Him and Colonel Mustard cost us about 15, 20 points playing together.
Colonel Mustard is Mustafi. We nicknamed him Colonel Mustard to all new viewers here. Alonso, it's very important here. Ramen soup and chicken or chicken ramen soup?
So there's ramen soup, right? And it's chicken flavored, but there's chicken inside of it.
Okay, so it's everything. It's combined everything, right?
Chicken ramen soup.
It's chicken ramen soup.
Double chicken ramen soup with Pepsi.
All right. Anybody else?
Oh, you know what I saw? You know what I saw just now? Stan, the man, just posted something about a new contract being offered to guess who? Leno, because he's now wants to stay with Arsenal. That's one of the tweets that's out there.
You know, Bernd Leno did this. They did it to Bernd Leno last season. Emi Martinez moved on, and they're doing it again this season.
Yeah, they're gonna, and then we're gonna look around and go, all right, we could have Onana, all right,
Onana.
and I don't care if Get Matt Ryan. Get Onana. I don't. We had Runarsson on the team,
Yeah.
right? If we had Runarsson on this team,
Matt Ryan.
are you
Yeah.
telling me we can't replace him with Onana? Worst case, Onana. You know what? You come in, you'll be the starter. Maybe not this season. You know what? Maybe the full-time starter, not this season. You need to get back. You haven't been playing for almost a year. I'm not going to put you out there in this situation. You need to get acclimated to playing. You're going to play some cup games, maybe, right? Maybe. You know, you're going to come in maybe late in games when we've got the thing sorted out. If we have an extra sub, you know, but it should be that easy. Matt Ryan comes in. I don't know. He might not come in there anymore. So I just we had Renarson as our third goalkeeper.
Bird Leno.
No. No.
All right. Listen, it's a little bit concerning what's going on around us. Our competition in the league, Tony. We got Everton, we got Leicester City, we got Aston Villa. Worried about Aston Villa, what they're doing. They're recruiting. Leicester went and signed Patson Daka, really good striker. And Everton are making some moves. They got Rafa Benitez. First question, do you think Everton will be better just with Rafa on the sideline?
Yeah, they should be. They kind of dropped last season. I kind of predicted they would drop last season. They're a little worse than I thought they'd be, but I think he comes in and instantly makes them better. I think we're trying to make some good moves this summer. And I think we should be scared of what teams that shouldn't be our contenders are doing. Mid-table teams that we shouldn't be contending with are signing players that we want to sign, and now Villa's trying to be villains and steal Smith Rowe away from us. I wouldn't be surprised at all if that does end up happening sometime this summer, because he hasn't signed yet. They're to have $100 million from selling Grealish, and
it's very obvious, Tony. They're trying to get another midfielder in here, a creative midfielder in, so that they will be able to let Grealish go. Yep. Don't worry, lads. Gareth Bale will help us at Cardiff to become a bigger club than Arsenal. You got to get out of the league first. You got to get into the Premier League first, Brownie. That's how it works.
So wait, the man. So he, as I recall, he is making how much?
I don't know.
How much money does he make a match? Like
he still plays
six digits,
15
right?
down the road.
That's like probably the whole team for Cardiff or something, you know. But he's gonna do that and play. He's not taking a pay cut. No way. And Cardiff's not playing a lot of his salary, so I don't see that happening either.
Miles said, I think Everton will spend big money again, very possibly, and be a top 6 side at least. I think they're as poorly run as Arsenal have been. That's what's holding Everton back, I believe. I'm surprised I'm not hearing much about Rafinha at Leeds. I think he was the best right winger in the league last season. Yeah, Rafinha was good. You know?
Yeah.
Who are you worried about most out of those three? Leicester, pretty good. Will they be as good next season, Gary? Everton or Aston Villa?
I kind of feel like Leicester
Do
City.
you have another candidate?
I think like Vardy. I kind of feel like Vardy will get old. You know, he kind of missed some games this season.
He's already been sliding.
You know what I mean? So is he going to get? He's getting older and he's not playing as much as he used
Daka
to.
will take his place.
True. So they, so they've got an old aging star. They bring in a youngster, right, to help out. Wow, imagine that. Sounds like a good plan, doesn't it? Arsenal's so stupid. We're just doing things wrong. I mean, you look at these teams; they just seem to do things that we need to fill our midfield, right? We need to not waste our resources. So the Guendouzi's, the Salibas, right? We need to make sure we need to get top dollar from them. The only way we can do that, one, I think, is if we played them. They put on an Arsenal shirt, and they still didn't work for us, but they showed something. They could be sold. They don't put on a shirt. We're not getting the money that we want.
10 million for Guendouzi if we're lucky. Alonso. We're not getting decent money for the players we're going to be selling. Granit Xhaka is 17, maybe 20 million for his performances with the Swiss team. And who else? Who else can we get money for? Maybe Bellerin, 20 million.
Well, like Gary has said in the past, that we devalue our players, so we don't put our players in position to succeed, right? So their value goes down once Arsenal go bad, right? So you would hope that with Xhaka, he's had a good Euro so far, and so the best bet for him would be go all the way to the semifinals and or go to finals for him to be sold at a reasonable price, the price that we bought him for. Because every time they win, right, Swiss win, then his value goes up because he's a captain for his country. He hasn't done bad. So, if Roma come calling with a reasonable price, you gotta sell him to them. So you gotta sell him. Excuse me. They have to come up with a price, right? That's respectable.
Yeah.
And 20 million sounds pretty respectable to me,
Yeah.
I mean, I was just looking at. Sorry if I'm interrupting there. We
Go for it.
were talking about the three teams in what order. I kind of feel like I'm scared about all of them. One, because
I think Villa potentially could be better than Everton. Everton seems to be that perennial team.
But I think if Everton is healthier, like if they get Calvin Lewin for, he got injured, and I think that was kind of the start of their fall, along with James,
Yeah.
right?
They are heavily reliant on Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah, I mean,
You
him by himself it's nice to have on the field. So
Even Arsenal have been linked to Dominic Calvert-Lewin. All right. Well, we talked about Patrick Vieira. Tony, I'm going to go to you. The new manager of Selhurst Park at Crystal Palace, right?
Yep. He spent a year and a half at New York. Then he moved to Nice. He improved their defense. They were tied with the second best defense in the French league his first season there. Then they changed ownership, had a bunch of injuries. He gets sacked. I think they were seventh when he got sacked, and they ended up finishing a little bit below that. I think it's going to be a good signing. I would have went with him over Arteta for to sign a former player. I think he would have gave the team the mentality they need. We'll see what he does there. Hopefully Elk gets his way and ends up buying a team. Then we can have Vieira as our manager after he gets some more Premier League experience.
That would be brilliant. Get Stan Kroenke out, get Eck in, and start making some moves. Gary,
you want to cry if your uncle went away?
Listen, it's going to happen. Every manager has their time, and I do believe that Patrick Vieira is positioning. He's come back to the Premier League after being away. He's gained a lot of experience in the last 6 years. New York for 3 years, Nice for the last 2 years, and now he's in the Premier League. He's going to get more Premiership experience, Gary. I'm happy, actually. We saw Patrick Vieira going away. He was part of the Manchester City model. We lost in the Manchester City, but this is one legend who does need to come home eventually. And I do see him as a future Arsenal manager, Gary.
Well, if he does wonders with Crystal Palace, then yeah. But I don't. Do you see that happening?
Well, what would you call acceptable for him this season with Crystal Palace? What would you say is a good job?
Well, I'm just looking to see where they finished 14th. So what?
Yeah, they're comfortably in the bottom half of the
So
table.
if they finished in the top half of that would be a good that would be plus, right?
Yeah, it would be a big ask to do that.
Yes, but that's what he would need to do because that's what they would need to do. I mean, if they were they finished 14th, and if they finished 13th, You know, is that showing improvement? I don't know. I mean, they may not. It's just sometimes the teams they're just unless they can unless they have enough. You know, they want to take the risk and go out there and get the players. They're gonna. You know, they have lots of places to improve. They need to improve, right?
Mhm.
So I kind of feel like, yeah, he can go there, but it's not a team we should be
Yeah.
concerned about.
No,
We have,
absolutely. I'm not saying, Ray Anderson. I'm not saying it's a team that we should be worried about at all. I'm just looking down the line, and I think Patrick Vieira has plotted a path back to the Premier League through um, going to New York, going back to his homeland of Nice, which he would have been comfortable doing. I think Tony alluded to he did quite well there. Did he do quite well there at Nice, Tony?
He did his first season, and the second season, I think they were eighth when they fired him, but they were still doing pretty good. Had injuries, had a new ownership. New ownership's a little crazy there.
So I know he had some COVID situation. It was difficult for everyone. So Alonso, I'm seeing Patrick Vieira position himself back in the Premier League now, and he's going to be gaining experience and looking at what is going to go on with Arteta at Arsenal.
Yeah, I think that people there's a difference, right, between Arteta and Vieira, right? Vieira captained the Invincibles, and he captained a lot of good Arsenal teams, to whereas Arteta barely captained Arsenal, right? And as a fan base, we adore Vieira because of what he did at Arsenal, and I think it'd be every Arsenal fan to have a real captain at Arsenal, as you know what I'm saying, and not to say Arteta wasn't a great captain, but the time that Arteta was captain, we weren't really going anywhere, right? We were just stuck at fourth place.
Yeah.
But Vieira got us trophies. He was respected in the locker room. He has something about him that makes us Arsenal fans proud, right? And I think that this experience at Crystal Palace would do him good. And whether or not he would and you can only do bad at Crystal Palace, even though they're our rivals. We can only hope that that's a launching pad, right, for Arsenal job. So, I'm confident that he'll be all right.
By the way, Miles, you're a legend. If you got chicken in the refrigerator, you're a legend. So you can go and get some of that stuff at 4:30. Just brilliant to have people here from the UK as well.
No, I had to look up what Miles was saying about
Vieira,
about Pepe. Actually,
Pepe.
I didn't. He was saying I was looking at that when I guess he brought up the Vieira thing. But I was, I guess the 5 goals that Pepe scored in the last 3 games.
Pepe, if you don't include the last 4 games of the season where he scored a lot of goals, then he played it.
He almost packed
5 goals and 1 assist.
Yeah.
A lot of those minutes, though, Gary, were Willian minutes, right?
Well, yeah, because but I mean, but that's what it was the end of the season, nothing much to play for, but I kind of feel like that's what we want to see there. We want to build on that, right? So finish off the season strong. Yeah, it's not the way we wanted it, but I think he got punished. I think he got punished because he didn't play as much in those early part of the season. For me anyways. He was subbing in. He should have been starting. I mean, I'm looking at it here.
Well, Miles, we're calling certain players sons of Arteta. Willian, Bellerin, sorry to say that. Granit Xhaka, sons of Arteta, and Nketiah, another one. Players who seem to get on the team sheet irrespective of what they were playing. And Willian, Gary, took a lot of minutes away from Pepe.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the problem is, if you and I say, yeah, if you look at that, I mean, let's see, in the first 20 games of the season, I think he started 3 times,
Hmm.
right? And in the next 18 games, he
Pat will
started a
Pat
lot
will
more.
instill Alonso's hunger amongst the
Yeah.
players. That's
So I
always
think, yeah, I mean, so I think
should
that's the
say
problem is you don't give
on the
oh, look
beach
at the
already.
dog hanging out with us. What's up, doggy? What's the dog's name?
Ichigo.
Ichigo.
You know,
All right, what's
Ichigo.
going on?
Good luck. Good luck to Vieira. Definitely, I'm following Vieira. Yeah, Miles, but I don't want to disturb the fans who love him. Um,
No, I mean, you know what? I feel like we didn't get to see the Pepper we wanted to see because he didn't play much. He didn't play much games, right? So when he finally gets to play, that's what it looks like. I think that's what it's going to look like, especially when he gets a setting. But that was the problem. He wasn't getting enough games in a row for us to even get a feel of how he's going to play, right? We saw a lot of Willian play. I guess the first game of the season tainted Arteta's view of how it was going to go. That he just felt he
um,
had to keep him on the field, right? So I think
um,
that same confidence needs to be instilled in Pepe for the new season, where he knows he's going to play, the first 10 games because that's what the coach has the confidence in him. So he could just go out there and play because he's going to give us. I always say when Pepe's out there, you never know when the goal is going to come because he can give it to you at any point.
if Miles, I'm not sure who you're asking me about. If it's Vieira, I think he could be potentially good enough. It's always dodgy. You gotta. It doesn't always translate. You get a great player that becomes a great manager or coach. It doesn't always translate. Um, I'm a fan of Pepe as well. But I'm not sure, Miles. If you can just let me know who you're thinking there, so I can clarify. Double chicken ramen for everyone in the audience, right, Alonso? Everyone in the audience gets ramen.
I ate it all.
So this is you come
It's
to
all gone.
Hey,
Arsenal fan circle. It's the instead of the witching hour, it's the chicken hour.
Just ate some spiced chicken. Maybe sacked by December.
hey,
Um,
I have a question for Gary.
Mm.
Hey, Gary. So whenever you say our players always be ready by preseason, right? Does that include Saka?
Our players what?
Ready for preseason, right? Does that include Saka?
Saka's got to get a rest, right, Gary?
Okay.
No. Like I said, I think there'd be one player that may not be. Like I
Okay.
think him and Gabriel are probably two players that probably, depending on how far they go in the Olympics, we're gonna ease them back in. But if they're ready to go, then they should play.
Right.
I mean, right? I
Mhm.
mean, Saka's actually really gonna have. I mean,
Oh.
Does he go on vacation? Is that what happens? He goes away. Is that right? And
You
that's
would hope
why
so.
That's why he starts. I don't know. Sometimes some players because they just play right. They take the breaks when they come, but if he's going to take some time away to recharge the batteries, then yeah, he should probably sit. I mean, it sucks because that's like you said, it's usually the first name on the sheet, right? But
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think he definitely. I mean, we
Perfect.
wanted him to get that rest before anyway, so.
Yeah.
So definitely Saka won't start the season, which is terrible, right? Right?
Yeah. But he needs a rest
Yeah, yeah.
if he's playing. He's been pretty big part, and we're going to dive into the Euros real quick. We usually don't go 3 hours, right, Tony? But we're verging on 3 hours here. Ray Anderson said Miles is correct. There's two Rays. I'm Ray as well here. I think you were asking Ray Anderson, but yeah, Pepe. I actually, you look back in the history of this channel, I did a video about Pepe 8 months before he actually did come. In January before he did come, I wanted Pepe, so I was pretty stoked that he did come to us. Um, yeah, he failed to live up to his 72 million. As we said before, it's not his fault. He cost 72 million, but I think he's starting to justify it now, and he's probably Gary, Tony, Alonso, probably in the top 6 players who would be on the team sheet.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
He should
Yeah.
start, right? He should start. We're not going out there getting wingers to replace any of our starters, right? So,
Ray's giving us extra time for showing up late. Definitely.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I agree with Gary. I think that for some reason he's been held back, and it kind of shows you last 4 games, what he can do, and it's quite impressive. With the fact that his strengths came out, and it was pretty nice as a fan to see that, because though the price range wasn't his fault, but it kind of made sense towards the end of the season what he can do.
Mm-hmm. Can I just say as well, listen, we're not here. I'm not here. We're not here to be the biggest in the land. But it's always great when we get a couple of good people joining the family here. It looks like Miles could be a permanent fixture here, joining us at this time in the week and on Sundays. We're pretty
probably on the nights that they've got chicken in the fridge. Down there.
Make sure, Miles, you get chicken in your fridge for these nights every week.
Chicken Thursdays.
Sundays as well. So
morning.
we go at this time, Miles, and we go on Sundays as well. Probably going to go a little bit earlier UK time, maybe early afternoon. If Basuma signs, then African Cup of Nations would decimate the midfield for a large chunk of the season. That's why I don't think it can happen. Thoughts? I think it's only 3 or 4 weeks, and I think we shouldn't scupper our transfer plans just for 3 or 4 weeks. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, our goal isn't to finish. I mean, it would be nice, but
we don't want to be the best in January or February. We want to be the best the whole season.
yeah, and we're not the only teams missing out on players, right? I
Yeah.
mean, Liverpool will be missing their top scorers, right?
Yeah.
Right. Their top scorers.
If we're consistent, if we're good enough, we shouldn't just worry about those few weeks, So yeah, I think Patrick Vieira, I think we're going to watch what he's going to do in the Premier League. I think if he does a little bit better, does a similar job to what Roy Hodgson did, then I think he'll have been a success. Thanks for subbing, Miles. Hope you're part of the family. Keep watching. Chicken on standby. You can't go wrong with chicken. Alonso will tell you. Now, you got to tell us. Well, actually, you said Mountain Dew, so it's not Pepsi or Coca-Cola.
It'll work great.
Still PepsiCo, bro.
All right. Real quick, we're going to round this out with a quick discussion on Euro watching. Gary, we'll go to you first because you were born in England. You have a horse in this race, and England are still there. Is it coming home, Gary? Is it coming home?
I guess I don't say that because I'm not in England right now. But I mean, I think they have the best chance to do it. To get to the finals for sure. And I do believe they have the offensive players, the attack to actually go in there and get something out of these games. I mean, Sterling has been consistently scoring. I mean, I would like to see him do better in certain areas, but he's always scoring. So
like 3 goals now, right?
Right. It's 3 out of 4 games, right? Is that right? 3 out of 4 he scored. Yeah. So you can't pull him, even though I would have pulled him after the first game or the second game. I would have pulled him, right? Because he's scoring goals, but I still watch him. I still watch him take the ball into the defense and then basically have no answer. Right. So yeah, I was born in Hammersmith Hospital, and I lived in Acton. My dad is actually still in Acton now, so I saw him a couple years ago. So yeah. So I've got some roots there.
And it's tough, Gary, trying to get back. I'm trying to get back to Ireland, and I'd have to quarantine myself if I go over there. Yeah. It's tough to get back home, isn't it?
No, I want to go back. I mean, watch like I've been watching Arsenal a lot more regularly for like the last 10 years now. So I've always thought it'd be nice to go see a game. Um, when I went for my dad's birthday, so I didn't really have time to set that all up. But
Mhm.
I definitely want to go back and see a game. I mean, I drove by the stadium, but I would like to go and see a game there. For you know, I've seen Arsenal play in the States, but
Yeah,
not in England. So, but yeah, so I guess West London is where I lived.
right.
So
Um, right. Yes, Ray Anderson. I think 3 or 4 weeks enough to ruin any potential push for Europe places. 9 to 12 points we could be sacrificing, but we might be able to compensate for those players away from home as well. Miles, who knows? Yeah. So England, they play Ukraine. Gary.
yeah, we should win that. I mean, I think Ukraine is one. They're missing at least. I think they're missing one player definitely because of that red card. I think he's done. And then they added another player, I believe, come out with a leg injury, so they could be down two players that played significant minutes in that game. Plus, they had to play an extra 30 minutes. Right? They did score, but I don't. I feel like you know what? This is a team that should be worn down going into that match with their starters. Right? They're not going to rest everybody, so England should come out. You know, they should be able to. They should be able to come out and get something out of this match easily. You know, I know we play a lot more defensive style, the way that, at least the way it looks to me, anyways. We've got some really good talent
Yeah,
there.
as an Arsenal fan, you can recognize the similarities to Arteta,
But
right?
that's the problem. It's like you look at it, you're like, I left Arsenal, now I want to watch the England team. And you're like, I still have the same problems, right?
Same issue.
Grealish and Saka cannot play on the field together. It
Mm.
seems to be the way things are going right now. It's going to be one or the other. So some are thinking that Saka will rest and Grealish will play. You know,
Mm.
because of the
I,
way they're gonna line up, and Foden will come in. So because he needs to play, I guess. I don't know. I don't understand that one, but um, yeah,
so
they should win this one. The defense to me has been I believe, pretty solid. Whoever they put, I think whoever they put on in that center back pairing has been fine. So I don't think they have a concern there. Uh, Phillips has played really well, right? Rice got to, I think defensively they're pretty stout, and I don't think Ukraine should give them any problems, right? It's not like playing Germany's midfield, I think. So I think
yeah,
we should be able to
Ray
get something more out of this game.
Ray Anderson's Stadio Olimpico will
Yeah,
be
it's in
uh,
Rome. Yeah, it's in
in
Rome.
Rome. Okay. Sorry to ask, because I'm sure you've covered this a lot in the past, but what is the view on Arteta from you guys? I am the most hopeful one, I think. I am the most hopeful one. Tony here will go all over the place, but he's mostly against, right? Um, Basically, I do hold Arteta accountable for not winning the Europa League. Um, Playing Bukayo Saka left back, we surely would have gotten past Villarreal, and we would have beaten that Manchester United team in the final. Tony, where do you stand on Arteta?
I think he's too stubborn and too inexperienced to take us where we want to be. I think he kind of handicaps us, just like Southgate does England. I just don't think he's good enough. I don't think he should have ever been appointed.
And also for me, I'm going to give him till the end of October. I want to give him the first 10 games. I do believe a manager needs to get a couple of years at least before you judge him. But yeah, I think he's got some qualities. We were able to win an FA Cup with him as well. Tony, you got anything more, or want me to go to Alonso?
I'm done.
Okay, Alonso, where do you stand on Arteta?
I mean, he tends to experiment on the fly too much. He tries to do different things when we need us to win the game. Like Southampton in that FA Cup against Villarreal, the first league against Villarreal, there was a lot of trickiness to his formations, and he picked players that he shouldn't have picked. He played Lacazette for a number of games, which he shouldn't have never done. And he plays favorites a lot. He doesn't trust his instincts. He doesn't trust the youth. So yeah, I don't like him at all. I think that he should have stayed at Man City, and we should have appointed someone else.
So Miles, there's a couple of other contributors come on. Stan the Man joins sometimes, and he's kind of similar to me, hanging on by a thread till October. Sam Greenwood is quite against Arteta, and Mahir as well. Gunded News is quite against Arteta as well. Gary,
Yeah, no, similar. I
Gary's
team is
pro
just-
Arsenal.
no, I'm Arsenal.
he's
and
pro
what I
Arsenal.
say.
Gary will always sit on that.
Everybody says they're Arsenal. They're Arteta out. I'm saying I'm Arsenal, and I feel like they should do what's best for the team. I don't. If that means Arteta needs to go, then he needs to go. If he's staying, then they need to do something better for him. They're not doing that either. So if they're not going to do that, then yeah, he needs to go because they need to bring somebody in that can do a lot more than he can with what they've got. So
As you can see,
I won't be sad if he left.
Yep. As you can see, Miles, I think it's Stan and I against the rest of them.
Yeah, they want to give
Yeah,
him
but
time.
Stan's like 70-30 or 80-20, depending on the
We've
day
seen
Arteta.
enough. We've seen enough of Arteta. Unless he's going to change his ways, he's going to do a 180 on us, right? Unless he's going to do that, I don't see any.
What's the chances of that, Gary?
No chances at all, right? Because
nobody's going to do that. Real quickly, my hope is he's going to learn over this summer. It's got to happen. He's got to learn. He's got to. I think everyone can learn, Gary. I think he's a young manager, and I think he can learn.
He's too stubborn, though.
So listen,
rigid.
We had Gary preview the Ukraine-England game. I'm going to go to Alonso and Tony. Alonso, which of the other three do you want to preview? The Switzerland-Spain game, Belgium-Italy, or Czech Republic-Denmark?
Wow, I go for Swiss. Swiss.
I knew you would.
I
I knew you would.
Granted, Zaka's a
Because
score from 40
Xhaka.
yards out, says
Yeah.
Alonso.
So
Spain,
they have good.
Switzerland.
Who are they playing again? Spain, right?
Spain against Switzerland.
So I think Xhaka is going to take out.
He's not. Jacques has nothing to do with this match.
Is this your Roy of the Rovers?
No,
preview of
Jacques is
Spain,
not
Switzerland
playing. You
game?
guys know that, right? He's accumulated too many yellow cards,
He's not playing.
so he's not playing. So the man of the match that got them there isn't playing.
But you have Shaqiri now, so Shaqiri's going to score 2 goals, and bada bing, bada boom.
Bada boom, bada boom.
I think, Ray. I think that Switzerland can go through. I don't think Spain is the Spain of old, where they were playing well in 2008 and 2012, and they had an 8-year dominance, right?
No, they scored 5 goals in 2 games.
Okay, it's different, right?
They scored. Didn't they score 5 goals in the last game?
Last 2 games. Yeah.
No, they scored 5 in the last one.
And the one before that.
Well, okay, so they scored 10 in the last 2 games.
2 games.
So I mean, they are a team. Like Morata actually scored. I mean, I was sitting there watching the game, and it was 3-1 with 7. It was in the 80th minute, and so I went away, came back, and it was in extra time, and I was like, what? Like that was the weekend. If you watch those 4 matches, 3 of them went to extra time, and I believe 3 of them had teams. Well, no, 2 of them went to extra time, but 3 of them had games that should have been pretty much done, but they got a little. They went back and forth in the last 2 minutes.
Carry on, Alonso.
Yeah. So it was Spain and Switzerland and what else, Gary?
Spain and Switzerland.
And who went through? Oh, it was Ukraine. That's right.
Yeah, Ukraine's playing England, right? So
So yeah, so I think that it's going to be a different game because Switzerland are a team that comes back, right, and they make game out of it.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, that team spirit seems to be there for Switzerland. It's going to be a tough game.
yeah, so that's why I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it will go. I'm thinking that it'll go to extra time.
Yeah. Miles says, sorry I'm Arteta out. He said and done some really bizarre things. Yeah. I'm putting it
Lego
down to
binary.
Tony calls it Lego binary. I think Miles is going to sync up really well with you and Gary, Tony, and Sam.
And he eats 4:30 a.m. chicken. So
Yeah, I mean, what's bad about that? Come on, really.
We need to know his beverage.
8th place is just unforgivable. Yeah, I mean,
Besides Mountain Dew.
I tried a lot to make a case for Arteta this season, but he disappointed me, and
He finally folded with 2 weeks to go.
Tony, let's finish this out. Belgium, Italy, or Czech Republic, Denmark?
Yeah, both of those games are going to be the tighter of the 4 games. I think the winner of Belgium, Italy is will probably be the winner of the tournament.
I agree with you. That's something we agree on.
Yeah, because you just don't want to. Because you can't cheer for England. I get it. I get it.
Be surprised at all.
I can't cheer for England.
Time.
Sorry.
But with the injuries, I think Italy ends up squeaking by and winning it.
It's going to be tough. I think Italy will have a lot of possession in the game, but will Belgium be able to hurt them with their counter-attacking? I'm going to go for Belgium because I've called Belgium the whole way through, and I just want to be right. But Belgium, Italy, I think will be the
ride that horse, Ray.
All right. Well, Miles just said he's got to sign off. The chicken won. The chicken won.
Big up yourself, Miles. It's almost 5 o'clock there in the morning. Enjoy the chat. Come back Sunday. Check out the channel. We'll be here next Sunday when we see who goes through to the semifinals. I think it's going to be Belgium. Alonso, who do you think? Belgium, Italy?
Wow.
Yeah.
I think both teams are going strong. I think that in the past 8 years or 7 years now, or maybe 9 years, 8 years, you've seen Belgium in their, I guess, golden era, I guess. And they haven't disappointed, right? And I think an old friend, Tom from Ireland, is still there, right? So, I mean, with the type they have, with Lukaku playing well, and really as well, I think it's going to be a close game, I believe. I think it's a close game that can also go into extra time.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We'll get everyone's predictions later. We're not going to do it right now. I'll let you think about it. Group of death are all dead. Definitely. Is there such a thing as an insomnia club?
Well, not. You know what? But the chicken it got nullified, the insomnia club. So what you gonna do?
With our group chat, we got all kinds of clubs. So I think the show could have some clubs too.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, listen, I'm actually glad we left the Czech Republic and Denmark game to the last one. I think I gotta believe, Tony, that the Denmark players are starting to they really put behind what happened with Christian Eriksen, and now they're pulling together as one team. You guys have probably seen more of the tournament than me. Is that how you feel about it, Tony?
Yeah, I think it's pretty spot on. I think Czech Republic's another one that just kind of plays for the team. But Denmark's definitely stepped it up since the heart attack and all that stuff. And it'd be nice for him to go on, but I think Czech Republic will squeak that one out barely.
That is a tough one, right? Alonso?
Yeah.
Um, I think that Denmark is going to squeak through this game because, like you said, Ray, and Tony, that they kind of
Playing
took
for
the motivation or the inspiration of Christian Eriksen, and they wrote this for ours. So I could see them winning this game.
Yeah, I think they've harnessed something there, a solidarity, Alonso,
Right.
a togetherness that probably that incident, as awful as it was, it may have solidified that group,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
every player is playing bigger and better.
yeah, and much respect to them because I think they could have easily folded, right? I mean, they could
Mhm.
easily packed their bags and went home, and rightfully so. I mean, that was tough to see, and that was really tough to stomach. But they somehow found that willpower to go on, and it's pretty remarkable what they've done. To be honest, to be fair, and more power to them. I think that win this game based on that.
Yeah, Gary, your thoughts on Denmark?
Yeah, no, I definitely think they are.
They beat Wales 4-0, Russia 4-1.
Yeah, I think they're inspired, right? And I mean, I think playing against Czech is probably a game that they can get something out of. So I think they're going to ride it one more time. So I could see Denmark getting something out of this match. That's kind of what I feel. And they're gonna, like I said, they're gonna ride in, this inspiration that they've got so far. Probably one more game, but after that, I think that might be at the end of the road for them. But yeah, it should be like you said. The last two games we picked should be good because the teams are closer in a sense in terms of you know even. I guess I had Italy winning it at the beginning of the season. At the beginning of this whole thing as one of the surprise teams. Oh, I guess Actually, I had. Actually, sorry, correction. I think I actually had Belgium. Did I have Belgium or Italy? I can't remember. Between the two of them, one of those
I
two
don't think
teams.
you said Belgium. I would have
Yeah.
remembered you agreeing with me.
It's probably Italy then. It's probably who because
Tony,
it's probably
hold
Italy.
hold them to account, Tony.
Yeah, everybody went against you on Belgium
Yeah.
on winning.
He's going to
Yeah.
pick Liverpool as well for the start of the season. And
It's gotta no, but I guess maybe it was Italy then that so I can see like you said. I think this will be a really good match that's being played. I can see Italy. I can see the team winning. If it comes down to
So
I think Italy's been the most consistent to me. I don't feel like I've seen them have any big dips and stuff in the way they've been playing.
they're going to be
pretty
a tough
consistent.
team.
Pretty
That is going to be a great game. The Belgians versus Italy. Is Brownie Spanish or Welsh? I'm not sure.
He doesn't know. He's Spanish, Welsh, Cardiff fan, Arsenal fan. He's all over the place.
He's even a Swansea fan.
He's a man of many hats.
A man in many hats. Ray Anderson, exactly as we're just chatting here about Denmark, looks like they're starting to believe in themselves and want to do it for Ericsson. I remember in 1992, they came off the beaches. They got into the tournament and they went ahead and beat Germany in the final. Ray's going for 3.5 hours. I think we won't hit 3.5 hours. He hasn't even started his Irish goodbye. We haven't been doing the last 2 Sundays. We will be back Sunday. I've sort of missed the Sundays, strangely enough. So I'm compensating tonight, right? Maybe overcompensating, Tony. Got almost 2 hours tonight already, so I don't mind if Rays continue a bit longer. We're exhausting all possibilities of things to talk about now, Alonso, right?
Hey, I have a question for Ray Anderson.
Yeah.
Hey, Ray. So how many hours of sleep do you get a night?
How many hours should we do a night?
No. How many hours of sleep does Ray Anderson get a night?
How many hours of sleep do you get, Ray? Good question.
Over or under a 5.
Or is you just awake and won't go to bed till like, I don't know, 10 o'clock our time? No. public all the time, right, Tony?
And while Ray is answering that, Alonso, we have to talk about Willian. The move broke down to Inter Miami. What happened, Alonso?
I
I thought you were taking care of that deal.
No, I don't know. I mean, it could be his
Kieran
agent.
Gibbs screwed it up.
It could be his agent, not really putting forth the effort, maybe, or
Yeah.
oh wow,
Over and under about 2 hours, about 5 hours. Sorry. Listen, we are going to get out of here pretty soon. The guys have a contract for 3 hours only, and it shouldn't go past that.
My contract only minimum of 2 hours. No
Your
maximum.
contract is complicated. It takes a lot of negotiating.
A lot of beaver pelts.
hey Ray. So what happened with William? I heard that on BBC app, but I didn't really.
Broke down on wages, so he wants 167,000 a week or something like that.
Yeah, he wants to get paid double what Higuain is making.
Yeah,
Well-
Higuain, who's going to be scoring all the goals and carrying the team, but he wants to get paid more than him. You know, this is
It's
a
probably
player.
going to be Arsenal paying some of his wages to go there.
I'm sorry, Tony, but when you weigh up what Kieran Tierney said, he doesn't care about how basically what he's getting paid, but just the length of the contract. Weigh that up with Willian, who his motivation is to be paid more than the best paid player at a club. Then, you know, it's no comparison in my opinion. 6 hours, Alonso.
Oh right, okay.
A couple of last things, Gary. Final thoughts.
Yeah, no, like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing how these next 4 games in the Euros go. See who makes it to the semis. I definitely am looking to see what Southgate or South Tedder, depending on how you look at it, how he sets up his team.
Arteta's cousin.
Yeah, so it's the Saka play. I don't know. I mean, it's weird because you got Saka, you got Grealish, and you got Foden also in the mix. Foden is liked by the manager, and he's been out for a little while. So, I mean, that's the problem I see with this England team. They've got some really good players, up and coming players. Just don't see them. Expecting some good things from the other matches. The first one's on tomorrow, I guess it is, right? There's just to be some good matches tomorrow. And then as far as Arsenal, hopefully we will see some signage, right? We got a lot of players that seem to be either signed, and it's just a matter of some logistics to be worked out. So we need players. Ray has got how many more days? 14 days, right? 14 days. So 2 weeks
15.
from now. So 2 weeks from now, we should be coming in to, our next Thursday, coming in here, and Ray's gonna be say.
We've got Tavares in. We're gonna have Ben White. We're gonna have Lokonga.
That's what
That's
you're
3
thinking.
out of 5. So that's
The majority.
So we'll see. We'll
That's
see
the
where we are.
majority already.
We'll see. Nothing's happened yet. Yeah, nothing's happened yet. Emil Rowe could be gone, and then your whole thing's done. Right?
True.
But that's
Listen,
how yeah.
And Gary, do you feel like the season is starting to build now? The Arsenal season, the transfer window is grinding.
Not until I see a
to
player signed. Yeah. Not until I see a player in a red shirt or whatever it is. So yeah. So now,
or
yeah.
a player.
We've got what 12? We've got like 12 days before is it the first match or something like that? The first whatever.
Not until
12
we
days?
see a player licking his shirt, like the dogs are licking his teeth.
Oh.
Alonso, did you see that from Nuno Tavares? Did you see the video
No.
of his dogs cleaning his teeth? Got to check it out. You got to check it out. Your final thoughts,
Yeah, so as long as we get the players that we need, not want, I think that it'll come full circle once the season starts. I think that there's gonna be some moves that need to work out to. We had to have players leave, Cliff Natch, right? And
Yeah.
we got to figure out what we want to do with Saliba and figure out what we got to do with Lacazette or Aubameyang or whomever else,
Yeah.
because we have to build on our young core, and Pepe being one of them, as well as Saka and Martinelli and Tierney. We have a lot of youngsters that are very young and still capable of making a difference on the club, So, yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to next season already. Whether or not Bellerin gets moved, it's up to whomever makes the decision to do so. And we got to get money in return from him.
Listen, it's great to see Darren join us just at the end of here. He's on late or early in the morning, so we always appreciate. Now, July 16th was the deadline, and Ray Anderson's telling me nobody has signed yet. Gary, there's hope. Nobody has signed yet.
Yeah, until like I said, until we see a red shirt, nothing's started. I mean,
What about a yellow shirt?
shut it.
Yeah,
It's a red shirt. You put a red shirt on. You don't put a yellow shirt on. Come on, get
a really, really light faded yellow shirt. The
So-
one-
Bicycle yellow shirt.
so we've got 11 days before they play a match,
yes.
and how many starters will be playing in that game?
Oh, listen, that will be on Sunday. We'll talk about that on Sunday.
Mm-hmm,
We're going to come up with a team
mm-hmm.
for the 13th of July.
Yeah.
Because we're going to look into who will be on holiday still, who hasn't signed their contract yet. Emil Smith Rowe, sign the thing. Sign the thing, Emil Smith Rowe. Come on. Tony. Let's shout out Dazzler Boy here. Please shout out 24-hour gaming fundraising event for Willow Foundation. Link and info on my Twitter. So go check out FIFA Boy Darren at FIFA Boy Darren on Twitter. Tony, final thoughts. Let's get out of here.
I'm just ready for Euros to be over so we can finally see all the clubs doing business. Really hasn't been too much business done yet. Ready to see who we're going to sign. Tired of us being linked to everybody. Just ready to see how big the kitty really is. It seems like it's pretty big. We're going to get probably 20 million euros for Windouzi, Torreira, Xhaka, and Bellerin each. So that's 80 million euros. I think.
And Tony, as Sam would say, there's lots of work to do.
Yep.
But it does feel like the preseason is going to start kicking into gear pretty soon. Right?
Yeah, I'm
Like
ready to see. Ready
Hey,
to
Tony,
see
I
what,
was
ready to see what your old funny buddy Dick Garlick's up to. See what Dick Lick has to offer us. See if he gets
So
in.
maybe Italy loses and then Locatelli comes, right? So
Locatelli. We actually wanted to talk about him. I actually don't feel confident about that one, Gary.
I don't feel confident about it, but
Italians.
if he's
never
available,
lose.
Still got
and we have
13
enough-
minutes to make it to 3.5 hours.
and we have an opportunity to get him, we should. Now I'm gonna have to go because what is tomorrow, Tony?
Friday.
Peloton Day.
Yes.
We don't want to know
Yeah.
about your Peloton riding with your
I do.
coconut water.
Listen, we're gonna get out of here. What was I gonna say? Tony, I did well. I didn't cut you off too much tonight.
Nope.
You
For
didn't
what?
curse at me too much either. You kept it clean. In fact, I'm the one who didn't keep it clean.
Yeah,
tonight.
you dirty mouth, potty mouth, for sure.
You told me to keep it clean and you violated it. Yellow
Yes,
card,
he did.
Ray.
Yes, he did.
Yellow card.
Alonzo, I said Kolasinac.
You said
Yeah, he needs
colossal
to go.
snatch.
Colossal snatch. All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. This is
You said what
Tony.
Zaka is.
Tony. Has this been the longest podcast we've done yet? longest stream?
I believe we did go 3.5 hours
We
once.
did 3.5 hours. Well, this probably is the second longest. Good fun tonight. Thanks for joining, Gary. Alonzo, you're late, but great to have you here. And
He's
Tony.
late with his Pepsi and double chicken ramen.
Double chicken ramen. Good to have Miles join the crew as well. So it's always good to get another member of the family joining up. Gary, smile. It'll be all right. It'll be all right.
Smiling. Yeah.
Three,
Like I said,
2,
yeah.
1. Yeah. Go. Say, what were you going to say?
No. See you guys.
He's going to go hop
Enjoy.
on his Peloton right now.
Come back Sunday. We'll see you Sunday. We'll talk about something.
Yeah.
Arsenal.